The College Football Experience Week 4 preview and picks episode for 2022 on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. Bet $50 at WynnBET and get $200 in free bets. Bet big, win bigger with WynnBET. Download the WynnBET app now or visit wynnbet.com. That's WYNN bet.com and start winning today. We're also brought to you by us. Yes, the SGPN app. It's live in the App Store and Google Play Store. It is free to download, and it is your home for all of our free picks and podcasts. So grab that thing today and let it ride.
Hey, what's up, you degenerate gamblers? This is Bill Burr, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride, baby.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the College Football Experience Week 4 2022 week preview. I mean, come on. Guys, we have 4 weeks out there. Well, after today will be 4 weeks out there. So if you're curious, well, actually, we do have 4 weeks out there. If you can include week 0, go back and listen. We go through all of that. We rate all the 30. We grade all the 30 coaching hires that happened this offseason. We got you covered. There's a transfer portal episode. We got you covered in case you're wondering who the hell you're talking to. This is listening to. This is Colby swinging database Dan, aka Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
Nobody knows nothing. Somebody knows. Double the price, but no one touches Dundee. It's what, May 11th? And we're talking week 4 college football. Yes, you came to the right place. Do not adjust your sets because this is what the fuck we do here on the College Football Experience. Subscribe. Tell a friend. All right. I thought our last episode was absolute fire because, we were just we got some compliments on that. Welcome. Shout out to Welcome to UAB. Say that again, Patty C.
I said we're laying down the facts.
We are laying down the facts. We are getting there. But look, this guy, former JMU Duke defensive back. Give it up for the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh.
Car towed all the way to your house, and all you got for me is light beer?
What's up, buddy? What were you going to ask
light
me?
Beer. Is it okay for a white guy to throw up the Omega?
Sure.
I'm just bringing those.
I feel like wrestlers did that shit, right?
Probably.
Some
wrestler threw up the Omega.
Somebody did it. Someone did it out there.
I don't know if he was white. I feel like I
He's
might
gotta
get
be white.
stomped. I don't think it's. No, I think that would be welcome. I feel like if you throw up the Omega, the brothers would appreciate it.
Hey, look. I don't even really. I've never really dove that deep into that, but I'm just gonna go ahead and say you're all right in my book.
I'm just making shit up.
All right.
Here.
Now
it looks pretty cool.
What about the call? What about the Hulk Hogan call?
I think you're safe there too.
A little safer, yeah.
Not quite as cool though.
I don't know. It's kind of cool though because you're kind of telling the crowd, hey, give it to me now. All right, look, this guy's known to call a thing or two. Give it up for the DFS god himself, the rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, Tobacco Road living, the free lock giving, former Herndon Basketball League MVP. Give it up for NC Nick in the place to be.
What's going on, gentlemen? How we doing?
Excuse me, what's the story behind this pending paternity suit against you?
Oh, that's not a case at all. The woman's a stone-faced liar. Let's not even talk about that. I pulled out her really early. Sorry. Thanks for coming.
Big Earn McCracken.
Classic Kingpin.
Yeah, you gotta love Kingpin. How you guys doing? It's been a wild week since we Patty C, I saw you on Monday, but it's
been a wild day or two for you guys since then.
It has been a while. We had Scooby Wright, former Arizona Wildcat. Subscribe to the USFL Gambling Podcast. You'll get all that, but we had him on the show. Member of the Birmingham Stallions, so go check that out. But look, I mean, the college football world, this is, I would say, since I've been alive, this has definitely been the craziest offseason.
We are getting rumblings that the ACC will be ditching both the Coastal and the Atlantic divisions. They're so prestigious, some would say.
Not as prestigious as the leaders and legends divisions of the Big Ten's.
That's
That
true.
was one of the worst ideas ever. Jeez.
The leaders and the legends.
Did that last one season?
Yeah.
Yeah, how long did
Just
that last?
one?
When you're too pretentious for the Big Ten, that's when you know you have fucked up.
Look, what do you think about this? I have this note because I had to break down what the hell this was. It's a 3-5-5 scheduling format, apparently, where they do three rivals. So you have your three rivals that you play every year. So I would assume. Now, I would love to know who Syracuse's three rivals would be.
Apparently, according to The Athletic, Florida State is one of them. So we've already got an airball here.
Already bullshit.
Well, a better question is who's Clemson's three rivals? Georgia Tech, Syracuse, and Boston College or something? I mean, or no, Duke. No, it's
this
Duke, Georgia Tech.
Hey, as commissioner of the ACC, we want to honor the rich tradition of the Clemson-Duke rivalry.
Right.
All right. Just unbelievable. We'll see. I would imagine, like for Miami, you could say, okay, Florida State. I actually think Boston College with the Flutie magic there.
Yeah.
Maybe preserve that. And then what? Who's
Virginia Tech or Pittsburgh?
Yeah, Virginia Tech,
I think
right?
both of those. I think Miami's got a few. I mean, some of those are stretches. Pittsburgh's a stretch. There's no real
Who's
rivalry.
Pitt's three rivalries? Syracuse?
I would keep things more geographical.
I would
So,
too.
yeah. I think it'd be Pitt, Syracuse, Boston College. Who else is up that way?
Okay, Louisville, I guess.
Yeah, Louisville's close.
What do you give Louisville? They were in the fucking conference. At least like Pitt has the the Big East teams like Boston College and Syracuse in there.
Yeah.
Like Louisville's just random.
Louisville joined the Big East after those teams left.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So you can't.
They have no history.
Yeah. Louisville doesn't have a rival in the ACC, and I don't know if
That should be the Duke one, but they're not going to do that. They're going to give Duke.
they should give.
No,
it Duke.
Duke's going to have what? NC State, Wake, and North
UNC.
Carolina.
Keep
Yeah,
it all North Carolina.
Well, that's what you would think. I guarantee you they probably switch it up and do something else. But what do you make of it, NC Nick? What do you make of this 3-5-5, this Rocky Long defense when it comes to scheduling?
I like it, actually. I think it makes a lot of sense. I mean, the one issue is that it's still an 8-game schedule they've discussed. And, I think we all agree that every major conference should play the same amount of conference games, whether 8 or 9, like the Pac-12 or the Big Ten.
Or Big 12. Big 12
or Big
too.
12. Yeah.
You love the hate on the Big 12, buddy.
No, I don't hate on them. I just forget about them. Big difference. No, I think it makes sense because right now you have teams that years. I mean, they shouldn't even be in the same conference. So I like the idea that you play every team at least every other year, is it, or every third year?
Every other.
What's the
year
breakdown
right now? That's what the second 5 comes in.
But right now, Syracuse and Miami play once every 7 years.
Yeah.
They're not even in the fucking same conference
in the
as
same
far as I'm concerned. But with this format, it would be every other year, which I do think is a win.
Definitely.
But I got to think if you're a UVA fan or a Duke fan, Duke, it wasn't that long ago that they were representing the ACC in the ACC championship. It's going to be extremely hard with this new format to represent the ACC in the ACC championship.
If you're not the best team, you shouldn't be representing the ACC.
Exactly. It's more fair now. The two best teams should be playing just like the Big 12 does it in the championship game. So who cares if the Coastal is really weak one year and they get a team in there and they get just demolished by Clemson or something? It should be the best two. That'll make for better conference championship games.
I agree.
And more relevant in terms of them being able to push a team into the playoff.
Yeah.
Especially in years where it's like in question whether they're going to get in there or not.
Yeah, I agree. So what do you're for it too, Mr. UVA?
I'm definitely for it. I mean, I think like the divisions, they were randomly drawn in the first place, and they created these random like wannabe rivalries, like Florida State playing Boston College every year. No, we don't need that. We
don't need Boston College like playing anybody. Right?
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
unfortunately, we're going to get more of Duke Boston College, which is one of the rivalries we acknowledge was the worst game you could possibly watch on TV. So,
Hey, now come on. Hey,
sorry,
talk
NC
about my
Nick.
Blue Devils like that.
Duke Boston College.
I
But
will miss making fun of the Coastal, though. I will miss calling it, the NFC East of college football. We had kind of a running thing, a running joke about the Coastal.
Oh,
So I
man.
guess that might be done with. But all in all, I think it's a good move. It should make for better games and playing teams more often, which is only a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, did you guys see my take on Twitter in the past couple hours about that?
No.
I'm getting on there and I'm saying, hey, you don't need to have a set number of like rivalries that each team has. Like you can have Miami have,
But then wouldn't they argue?
they would argue, but who cares? Like right now, it's not even, and it will never be, no matter how you divide it. It's not
People
gonna
will always argue.
be, yeah. And so just play your rivals, and especially like if you've been playing them for 100 years, and like it doesn't fit into like your new little rivalry 3-3-5 scheme. You don't end a rivalry over that. Just play your rivals and then rotate everyone else, and you'll get everyone else within 2.5 years, which
Have
is
some
more than you're getting.
flexibility.
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, I for one can't imagine a college football season without Duke Louisville.
I know.
here.
All right.
It's a classic that we all need.
All right. Well, look, we got that out of the way. I did want to talk a little bit more about some college football. Look, we addressed this on the last episode. I would strongly recommend going back and listening to last episode. I thought I made great points. If I may pat myself on the back, Patty
There
C.
you go. You did. You shredded them, and a little statistical data digging up there. Colby was down in the library.
Well, I did it again. I didn't want to just alienate the SEC. And that was just that episode. And I'm going to continue to do this. This is the Big 10 that I have right here.
Nice.
Guess who played over the past 10 years? Now, this one's a little trickier because Maryland and Rutgers have only been in the Big 10 for 8 years.
Okay.
So
we're going 10 years back or 8 years?
10 years back. Well,
Just so
just
we could
know.
have similar data.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So the team that played the most away games in the Big 10 over the past 10 years, NC Nick, Patty C, if you had to cast a vote?
Northwestern.
Probably Northwestern.
No.
Maybe Illinois.
Actually, Northwestern charts overall within the conference.
Oh, it could be Rutgers.
Kind of surprisingly, you can see why they've had success. I'll put it like
Really?
that.
Patty Fitzgerald.
I'll put it like that. The correct answer is the Indiana Hoosiers.
Well,
Okay.
that makes sense too.
52 away games. Now, if you compare that to the SEC, believe it or not, Missouri, 59.
Missouri's insane.
Yeah, shout out to Missouri.
Now,
But-
but this is all their own doing because the teams are going to have the same amount of home and away games within conference play, right?
Well, not necessarily. If you have 9 conference games or 8 conference games, that's going to make a difference.
But
Yeah.
I thought 1 year you'd have 4 home games the next 5 and vice versa.
Well, yeah. I mean, basically, you're going to have 5 every other year.
Well,
and then the SEC is never going to have more than 4 in any given year. And
and when you throw the COVID year on there, where the Big 10, certain teams played 4, certain teams played 1, certain teams played 5.
yeah,
It is a little
that
bit.
throws a monkey wrench. But
Yeah.
generally speaking, a team in a conference that plays 9 conference games is going to play more road games on average than a team
Compared to other conferences, but not compared to teams within their own.
own
Yeah,
conference. Okay.
True.
So the Indiana Hoosiers have 52, which would finish second in the SEC, tied with Vanderbilt, right?
Yeah.
Missouri, like I said, the anomaly there.
Yeah.
Number 2 for the most away games, Illinois at 49. Tied at 49, though, is Minnesota, Nebraska, and Michigan State. Shout out to Michigan State. They're kind of the Auburn, comparing it to the SEC and actually being impressed by.
Yeah.
Then after that, it's Iowa at 48, Purdue at 47, Michigan at 47, Penn State at 47, Northwestern 45, Wisconsin 45, Ohio State 44. Now, if you add in Maryland through 8 years has 42. Rutgers has 40 through 8 years, right? So they're on pace. Like if you did the average of what they're doing, Maryland would fall at 46. Rutgers would fall at 45 with Northwestern, Wisconsin, and Ohio.
Why do Maryland and Rutgers have so many fewer than
I think Rutgers needs wins, so they just schedule a bunch of home games against. They don't even play Power 5 some of those years.
Yeah, they're just like
So
they have no desire to
yes.
like try and push for anything elite.
Now here's where it gets tricky. So if let's just throw Maryland and Rutgers out because you don't know. Do you find it ironic that the teams that scheduled the least amount of away games are these 6 teams? Ohio State, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Penn State, Michigan. So that would be, and the 6 being Purdue, believe it or not. That's pretty shocking. I mean, the only shocking thing was Northwestern to me. That was like the one thing. I would have replaced Northwestern with Michigan State. But it still kind of tells the tale of college football.
I gotta pull up the Big Ten championship game and see who the usual suspects are. Of course, it's
that wouldn't have any impact on it though. If you're talking about out of conference games. So
no, we're talking just away games in general.
But they have the same in conference
they had
amount.
The same in conference, which is what the Big Ten championship race is based on.
Right.
But it definitely impacts your ability to win your other games if you're playing on the road, more frequently in your non-conference.
But the least is Ohio State, which is 44. Alabama was at, I believe, 40. So it's not that far.
41 maybe.
Was it 41? Let me go.
Part of that though
41. You're right. 41.
Part of that, the big programs schedule neutral site out of conference games, big matchups, because it'll draw a big audience in person. Where meanwhile Purdue can't pull that off because not a bunch of Purdue fans are going down to Atlanta or so that's. I mean, I see what you're getting at, and it is important, but there's some reasons as to why.
Well,
it's a fair point.
No, but here's the even fairer point, if fair is a word, is the back-to-back away. You ready for this?
Well,
because the conference does have control on the back-to-back.
This is a better point.
Yes,
this is more schedule manipulation.
Yes.
Agreed.
Before you dive into this, though, Nick, to counter your point, I don't know about the Big Ten. I think certainly probably I don't know how many neutral site games are happening with the Big Ten. I can think of Ohio State, TCU off the top of my head.
Well, believe it or not, Purdue did play Notre Dame in Indianapolis a couple times, I believe.
Okay. Well, Purdue, I mean, which is kind of a counterpoint there. But the SEC, their neutral site games with Alabama and Auburn are half the time in Atlanta. So, they're really home games,
or New Orleans or something.
No, especially when they're playing like Oregon and Washington, which happens a lot. And BYU, it's like, it's like, so the back-to-back away, 13 times has Indiana played back-to-back away games.
So they have the most road games and the most back-to-back aways?
Yes.
One other question, though, is this back-to-back conference?
Occasionally, they will have one away game, and that will line up, but it's very rare. I think it only happens like twice in this whole thing.
Well, let me say this too. I mean, that's one point you're making, Nick. That yes, the getting screwed within your conference is probably like the conference showing preference, but like having to go on the road because you can't schedule a better schedule because college football in general is geared toward the powerhouses and what's the other point I was going to make there? I think just going on the road more and not being able to have as much manipulation of your own schedule. I think
that's a good point because Indiana can't attract big name Power 5 teams to their home field too often, right?
Yeah.
They have to do home and homes with another average Power 5 team. So maybe they have to take more of those home and homes.
Yeah, they're getting a 1-1 with UCF, whereas Florida's getting a 2 for 1.
2 for 1. Yeah, or it's not happening at all. But so at Indiana, 13 back-to-back away games. Number 2, Minnesota 11. So Minnesota was tied for number 2 with away games in general, 49. But how about this? Purdue, which had 47 total away games, which charted, if you took out Maryland Rutgers, would have charted in the top 6. They have 9 back-to-back away series. So you basically your 5 worst, the teams the Big Ten have dealt the most back-to-back away games. Indiana, Minnesota, Purdue, Michigan State, and Iowa.
Say those again.
Indiana, Minnesota, Purdue, Michigan State, and Iowa.
Michigan State's getting jobbed. It's amazing. Well,
Iowa too. But what's most remarkable, and I'll get to this point in a second. But by the way, the least. Once again, so I'm going to take Rutgers and Maryland out of the mix right now. But I find it ironic that Rutgers and Maryland have only been in the Big Ten 8 years, and they've played more back-to-back away games than Ohio State.
Right.
I mean, Maryland's played two more sets. Rutgers just won. Ohio State is number one with the least amount with 5. By the way, Nebraska tied with Ohio State, and this is the point I want to make with Nebraska. The first 4 years in the conference, they didn't give them any. Now, all of a sudden that they've been dog shit, they have it every year. They have it every year. But the first 4 years in the Big Ten, they said, no, this is one of our blue bloods.
I'm glad you're catching on.
And check this out. If you look at their first 4 years, they're very good. They're like 9-4 and 10-3 every year.
Yeah.
You start to give them the back-to-back.
They lose close games over and over.
It's so fucking obvious. So the worst programs would be these. Ohio State won. Nebraska, Ohio State and Nebraska both have the same, believe it or not. Right?
Yeah.
At 5, which is still 2 more than Georgia, right? Which was 3 in the SEC. Then you have Wisconsin next, 6, right? Tied with Penn State. Then after that, it is Illinois. Believe it or not, Illinois has had some, but they also had 49 away games though. But then after that is Michigan. So, pretty. What do you make of all that? Because look, I mean, I also have the win percentage over those 10 years.
Again, though, with what Nick's saying, you kind of wonder how many of those are within conference. I mean, even that is tough.
No, it's like 98. I'm telling you, I think Purdue was one that had one that was out of conference.
Yeah, that's true. Why would you, if you're a Power 5 team, be playing back-to-back road?
Yeah, I think Purdue actually last year, I think they had at UConn and at Notre Dame back-to-back. That was one. I think maybe one other one, but it shouldn't dilute the numbers.
Usually, conference play.
It should not be diluting the numbers. But over those 10 years, you ready for the top? Guess who the best 2 records are? Ohio State and Wisconsin. So Nebraska got the pass. Nebraska still has a winning record, believe it or not, over 10 years. But Ohio State and Wisconsin clear. Ohio State's at 90%, 117 and 13. And Wisconsin's at 72%, 93 and 37. Do you find that ironic, Patty C? Because after that, then at 3 for the highest win percent in the league would be it would be a tie between Michigan State, Penn State, and Iowa, right? After that would be Michigan. Right?
I don't find that coincidental in the slightest.
I'll tell you what these numbers meant to me. Fucking Iowa's incredible.
Yeah.
That's what it meant to me, because when Iowa's got the second most the tied for the third most back-to-back away games, and they've played 48 road games, which is tied for that's third
in the bottom half of the conference.
That's what that tells me is Kirk Ferentz is fucking incredible, because the obstacles that the other
to this.
What's that?
Now, hear me out. It might sound a bit crazy. Expand the playoffs, and every conference has somebody make the playoffs. The conference winner goes to the playoffs. So, meaning every conference gets paid, then they won't have to manipulate.
100%.
Is that crazy? Is that crazy talk?
I've been saying this forever. You got 10 conferences, have a large enough playoff, because I want this to be fair, because we can jump into the group of 5 and you'll see teams like Marshall play, like they open up their season with 3 away games against, like, if not one will be like, I'm just spitballing here, at West Virginia, then followed by at Virginia Tech, and the third one will be at UCF. Well, and then they'll go like 10-3 or 10-2, and then you're sitting there like, this team's probably pretty fucking good. You know what I mean? Like, I want all 10 conference champions to be represented in the large playoffs. But
I'll say it again. My perfect situation is a 12-team playoffs, 10 conference championships, 2 at large. Boom, done.
But this is still pretty fucking revealing, man. To me, like it kind of goes. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's a fucking Ponzi scheme, because look, we love college football, but this what is essentially that? The top gets rich, but yet they're not tested the way the others are. So it's not fair by any means.
So not only do the best programs have the best facilities, the deepest pockets. They get the best talent. They spend the most on their coaches, but they also get the benefit of the schedule manipulation from their conferences because their conference wants them to make the 4-team college football playoff in order to bring all that money into the league.
And raise the profile of the conference.
Which
There you
is
go. It's
terrible.
simple. Yes.
But it's a terrible format for the sport.
It's not
It's a
fair.
terrible
Schedule
format.
manipulation by
Yes.
conferences is a real thing. Nobody's talking about it other than us,
I
led
just
by
find
Colby.
Yes, I find it very ironic that Alabama and Ohio State played the least away games and the least Georgia had the least back-to-back away. But those are the 3 teams we see in the playoffs every fucking year.
Yeah. Well,
there comes a point where the numbers, look, I get it. You'd be like, oh, well, you're thinking this back-to-back away thing. Why is it dictating who's in the playoffs?
Is geared in
Yes.
this direction. Like,
it's like, okay, if you showed me one conference and I was wrong, then I would say, well, maybe the numbers can be twisted or something like that. But it's this. I do the same thing with the Big 12. I've done it before. I'm going to do it again next week, so you guys will have the numbers.
Yeah.
But trust me, unless something crazy happened this past year, which I don't think something really did with the numbers, it's going to tell you the same fucking thing.
Dude, there's a lot of money at stake. The conferences are not dumb. They want a piece of that pie, and they're going to do whatever they can. Any little extra, benefit they can give their top teams, they will, because they want the money.
which is why you
need a large playoff.
Exactly.
Or you need like more scheduling standards, But because that's not going to happen, and because the people that are making the rules are the ones that are benefiting the most.
Yeah, clear conflict of interest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even in the NFL, it's like they have geared it a little. Actually, they've geared it the opposite in the NFL.
Yeah.
The NFL has
you win the Super Bowl, you're supposed to get the hardest conference or the hardest.
Well, no, the way the NFL works is you got your 6th
and the worst draft pick.
Yeah. You get the worst draft pick. There's that, right? But in terms of scheduling, you get your 6 division games that you get every year, and then you get your 8 games from the other 2 divisions within your conference, and then you get another 4 from the other conference, and then the 2 remaining games that are on your schedule are the best teams if you're the best team or the team at the equal rank within their division. So if you won your division last year, you have to play 2 other division winners from the other division. So it's like they try their best to make it even and balance everything out to the point where they're like fucking up their best teams. The opposite is true in college football, where they're giving every break to the best team.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost unbelievable. This is the format, but it actually, I mean, that's what we're stuck with, folks, and that's why we want change.
Let's not give the NFL too much credit. I don't think they're trying to be fair. I think they're trying to just schedule as many premier matchups as possible to get higher ratings, which maybe in the end it turns out to be a good thing. I agree.
I also do think it's balanced. Yeah, I mean, you see it.
I think they should randomize the 2 and now 3 because they went to 17 extra games, or rotate them so it doesn't have anything to do with the opposing team's schedule and your record and your record. But I agree that it does make for better games. But that's
the NFL. Who gives a shit? Let's move back to college.
but either way, they're very much more fair.
Yes,
and lo and behold, there's way more turnover at the top of their sport.
Yeah. I mean, I just find those numbers fascinating. I can't wait to do the next. I know the numbers will be. I kind of already know what's going to happen here, but I find these numbers just every year. You sit there and go, "What the fuck?"
And I'll say this: you come across a little bit sometimes. I'm like Colby. Like you see all these other, I don't want to be this guy that's saying casual. I don't want to be like Mr. I know the fuck I'm talking about, because I'm just like Colby said, we're just like any other fucking fan out there. But these people that aren't paying attention, right? They are comfortable with the way it is, right? And Colby is looking at it and he's like, dude, this is clearly, as you say, tilted in the powerhouse's favor. Let's make it more fair so we can have a better product here.
Yeah, well,
you show me somebody that's comfortable with the status quo, and I'll show you a fan of a big time school who has the advantage.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, look,
I want to tell you guys before we hop into our draft, which, like I said, we draft every single game, or not every single, our top 30 games for week 4. Go back and check out all the other weeks. They are available. And make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. The College Football Experience is here on YouTube, and also the College Basketball Experience. So we got you covered. But I want to tell you the College Football Experience is brought to you by WinBet. Yes, bet $50 at WinBet and get $200 in free bets. Bet big, win bigger with WinBet. Download the WinBet app now or visit winbet.com. That's WYNNBet.com and start winning today. We're also brought to you by us. Yes, the SGPN app. Your home for all of our picks and podcasts. You can grab that for free in the App Store and Google Play Store. So grab that thing today and let it ride. All right, folks. Well, look, here we are. We rotate draft picks every year, or not every year, every week. I can't talk, guys. I'm sorry. So Patty C has the first pick in week 4. We draft 30 games. What we think are the most compelling games. We talk about it in case you've missed out on some other episodes. But yeah, so Patty C.
All right, Patty C is on the clock, and there is one game that I have in my heart that I'm going to leave for a little later, just because I feel like the fans don't have.
I think that's the best game.
Quite the same
because it's on Thursday night. I've been to this game.
It is the best game. There's no doubt.
I think you
about
play it, dude.
I'm not gonna play it. I'm gonna play a more nationally relevant game. I'm gonna leave you guys to take this because
that's wild.
Maybe.
What is the more national relevant game here, though?
It's at the top of the list you provided us here.
Really, but they never win.
It is true. I'm looking at the head-to-head right now. The game I'm going to take you to is Ohio State versus Wisconsin.
And there was a 59-0 loss in the past decade.
That really has not left my mind either. This is Ohio State's 4th most played rivalry. I haven't looked at how many where on the list it is for Wisconsin, but 84 matchups, 61-18-5 overall. Ohio State with a 75.6% winning percentage in this rivalry, and winners of it looks like the last 8 in a row, and 11 out of the last 12, which is for the two teams that are the best in their respective divisions.
Here's my thing. If this was in Madison, I could see this being played.
Yeah.
This is going to be a blowout. In Columbus?
Well, the last 2 games, 34-21 and 38-7.
Yeah.
Well, let me take a quick peek. I mean, just because this could be a Big Ten preview, if really Ohio State winning this, which you would expect they would, might be the difference between Wisconsin making a Big Ten championship and not. I will say,
they haven't made it the past 2 years. There's an argument to be made that Wisconsin might be falling off a little bit.
Well, they've been playing hard teams in their
last 2 years or last 3 years.
That's what that 9th game does. Wisconsin,
they got Penn State last year.
Made it 3 years ago to the Big Ten championship.
It's a big year for them because I feel like maybe also the Big Ten West has gotten better with Fleck coming in and Scott Frost. I don't know about that, but Fleck and Brom have made the floor up rise a little bit. Bielema, you could say too.
Bielema's going to bring it up a little bit. Both of these teams probably should be 3-0. Ohio State first 3 games at home, 1 against Notre Dame. Wisconsin has a cakewalk up until this point, so it will be 2 3-0 teams coming into this team in all likelihood.
Coming into this game,
into this game. It should be a fun one, but yeah, I guess you just expect Ohio State to win this one. So,
Nick, what do you make of this game?
First off, what's up, Terrell Furman, hitting us up on I guess the YouTube here, whatever here. I just see
the comments.
Message from there we go.
There we go. I got the glasses on. I'm getting the nerd talk. So
I think this game deserves to be in the top 5. But I mean, it's been a very lopsided matchup here. We mentioned the last 2 games blowouts. Buckeyes have won 8 in a row, so it's probably not going to be that close here either. Now, I will say Ohio State opens up with 5 straight home games. It includes Notre Dame and Wisconsin, but really, there's no reason why the Buckeyes should not be at least 5-0 to start the year, including beating the Badgers here.
Yeah, I completely agree. Graham Mertz got that NIL deal. See, that's a good story for NIL. The guy sucks, and he got a deal in time. He cashed in before ever throwing a football.
He made his own logo last year before the season started. I was just like, "Are you serious? Really?"
Should have spent that same time perhaps throwing the fade or throwing the
watching some film.
Defense.
Yeah, I mean that guy. I'm still shocked that Wisconsin's content on that. Unless his spring game, he looked absolutely like fucking Joe Namath. I have no idea why you'd be like, hey, yeah, that's our guy.
Well,
that's our guy.
Maybe that first game, what was it? During the pandemic year against, I don't know if it was Michigan, where he went.
No, I think it was against Illinois. The first game,
like
right?
his first 20
yeah,
passes.
It was Illinois, man. It was a blowout.
Yeah, everyone was convinced that this guy was it, and then he is slowly disappointed. But maybe he's worked it out this offseason. Let's hope.
Working it out. All right. Your boy Dundee is on the clock, and I am selecting the game Patty C didn't have the cojones to select. I have been to this game in Blacksburg, Virginia. This fucking game is fantastic. I feel like the college football gods have been listening to me, guys, because last year this was played on a Saturday, and I said, what happened to Virginia Tech playing these Thursday night games? They got so good. Like back in the Big East, they were like they were a staple of Thursday night football.
Yeah. They made their come up,
and a lot of them were these rivalries, like these games.
Oh yeah, this exact game.
Yeah, this exact game. So West Virginia at Virginia Tech Thursday night. This is the game, man. This is like I think one of the low key underrated rivalries that people don't know about in college football. They played last year. It was a fucking great game. Sloppy game, but West Virginia won by 6. If you look at really a lot of their matchups over the past 20 years, a lot of them have been close. I mean, you got the occasional blowout, but look, 27-21 last year, then 31-24. You did have a 34-17 in there, but 19-13, 21-18, 22-20. I mean, you go on and on and on. And it's kind of been both ways too, with the exception of Virginia Tech from like 94 to 2001, where Virginia Tech won every one but one. It's kind of gone both ways too. So
yeah,
I love this matchup. The fact it's on Thursday night, thank you, because they keep giving away Thursday night to the NFL. I'm telling you, like, okay, there's room for both. There's room for both. All right. Thursday night college football should be played.
Exactly where it is. Like teams with I think West Virginia's got 50 some odd thousand seats in their stadium. Virginia Tech somewhere in the 60s, 66, I think. If you don't have a 110,000 seat stadium, but you can pack 60,000, fucking play on Thursday night. It's a lit environment.
Yes. I mean, 100%. Morgantown,
you'll always be home sweet home to me. Good old Morgantown, WP.
Light your couches on fire. Perhaps they will be for this. Well, actually, this is in Blacksburg. So I guess, what do they got? I don't have Sandman here.
Gobble, gobble.
I have that. All right.
Close enough.
NC Nick, what do you make of this one?
Well, a couple things. I mean, college football is taking Thursday night back this week because I actually have 2 games Thursday night in the top 10. We'll talk about that Sun Belt matchup a little bit later. But yeah, dude, prime time, Lane Stadium, under the lights. I mean, the only downfall is that I think Virginia Tech was 6-7 last year, and WVU was below 500. So both these teams might be pretty average this year.
Well, West Virginia was basically 6-7 too. Because if you go to the 8 conference games, they probably would have beaten, Old Dominion.
Well, basically or not, that wasn't their final record. But Neil Brown is on the hot seat, versus Coach Pry in year 1. It's a fun matchup. Thursday night, we'll definitely be watching. So I might have had it a notch or 2 lower, but I'm not going to argue with it.
Will the announcer's car get struck by lightning?
Didn't that happen twice?
Lee
Corso, right?
Thursday night game in Blacksburg.
That's right.
By the way, Terrell Furman says Virginia Tech gets revenge. And by the way, Terrell Furman, make sure you give him a follow on Twitter, ___. Doing great work with the NBA Gambling Podcast, also the WNBA Gambling Podcast. Subscribe to both.
was dropping knowledge.
Dude, he knows his shit.
I was listening to him on the NBA podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was on that or if he was.
No, he's a host on that.
He's a host on that. Yeah. Got some knowledge.
Dude, the guy knows what the hell he's doing. All right. So go give Terrell Furman, check out all of his work. He's doing great work.
He's like breaking down the schemes and shit. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
The substitutions, the I don't know what the fuck it was. It was more advanced than I knew about basketball. I'll give him that much, which isn't much, but I was impressed.
Check out the NBA Gambling Podcast and the WNBA Gambling Podcast and all of Terrell's work. True legend there.
Let me say this.
What's up?
Virginia Tech, West Virginia, if they're at an equal level, which they currently are, that game last year was absolute fire. Was it last year? It was
last year.
Yeah.
It was a great game.
21.
Yeah, Virginia Tech damn near completed that comeback.
Even Terrell saying it here, it was a great game. Yeah,
that was an absolute great game. These two always produce magic, and you know what it is? They're just redneck schools. They're cousins, which means with these two schools, they're probably fucking. And yeah, they're. It's just always fun. They're very rambunctious fan bases.
All right. Well, that puts NC Nick on the clock. Pick 3.
Well, let me take a quick step back and say, I'm a Big 12 basher most of the time, but they really saved this week because, there's not that many great games, especially up top. You have conference play starting, but a lot of these games are like cross-divisional games between schools that aren't all that familiar with each other. And most conferences kind of backload, their best matchups for later in the year. So with all that said, I could go in lots of directions here, but I said that because I'm going to go with the Big 12 game. Believe it or not.
Big 12
Believe it or
Nick.
not.
Big 12 Nick is here. Which
I've
one?
Turned a leaf. Kansas State, Oklahoma.
Yeah, this is like a sneaky. I feel like Kansas State, even back in Oklahoma's heyday, when they had Bob Stoops. Remember when L. Roberson and Darren Sproles in the Big 12 championship? I think Oklahoma was like a 2-touchdown favorite. Kansas State and Bill Snyder whooped their ass. You remember that game?
I do.
Yeah, man. I feel like K-State always fucks with them.
Well, you don't have to go that far back. In the last 3 years, Kansas State is 2-1.
Yeah.
And the games 48-41 in Manhattan 2019, 38-35. Kansas State wins in Norman in 2020, and then last year Oklahoma wins 37-31. So these games always go down to the wire. Obviously, by those scores, there's lots of offense. Very entertaining every year. And this year, you got Venables coming over. You got Dylan Gabriel versus Adrian Martinez. Battle of the transfer quarterbacks.
And
Deuce Vaughn.
Deuce Vaughn.
Deuce Vaughn's our guy.
If you're
a DFS guy.
Yes. If you're a Kansas State fan, you catch Oklahoma the week after they go to Lincoln. So let's say that Venables gets this first marquee win because the first 2 games are nobody's, right? If they get that win at Nebraska, which is that's a great omen. Like they're gonna be like, Venables beats the rival. You come home to Norman for a team, a little bit of I just feel like K-State's always ready for these games. Yeah. I love this matchup. Kansas State at Oklahoma. I was interested to see that you didn't go. There's another Big 12 game that I think is pretty damn good out there.
It was a tough choice between those two. I know what you're talking about, but yeah, man. So who's up?
Patty C is on back. What's that?
Kansas State, Oklahoma is their 3rd most played game of all time. Oklahoma, Kansas State is their 4th most played of all time game of all time. I saw something Josh Pate was saying online today about how recruiting was essential, and he referenced the modern game, but basically any coach that can recruit can't possibly be a bad coach, and any coach that can't recruit.
That drove me crazy. I saw that.
I didn't even touch it.
Look, he's becoming the Bill O'Reilly. Of college football.
That's rough.
It is. There it is. But
look, I have nothing against the guy. Like I've never met him in my life. He's a passionate college football fan, but the difference would be is that
he's a shock jock.
Yeah, and he's clearly just an SEC. I try to just take it from a God's eye view. You like what I did there.
I would say he's turning into Skip Bayless or something.
Yeah, something like that.
It's a ridiculous take. That's a ridiculous take.
People said K-State is an obvious example of recruiting not being a super important factor for an elite coach. For Bill Snyder, who took Kansas State from nothing, Leach, and he took Kansas State to a point of national title contention, at the fucking doorstep of national title contention. And I was looking back at their draft classes of those years. And obviously he's right that now with teams cranking out like 10, 15 recruit or draft picks, it's outrageous now. But back at his time, when he was getting like 7 guys drafted pretty much every year, it's like he was elite without being a recruiter.
Dude, K-State had a year in the late 90s where all 11 players on their defense played in the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, we looked at the NFL draft this year, and for example, like no Texas players were drafted,
and Cincinnati had 9.
Yeah,
right?
So there you go.
Yeah,
ridiculous statement.
Right.
Terrell Furman saying Adrian Martinez has been starting Power 5 quarterback since 2001.
He ain't wrong.
Hey, he should have went to K-State from the start because Nebraska was running pro style offense. Look, Adrian Martinez. I don't think he ever fit in that. Yeah. K-State is like the perfect shoe.
Well, there you go, and that goes what you were saying the other day. Some of these guys that are trying to pigeonhole themselves into an NFL kind of position might be more willing to go to a run-oriented quarterback system because the money is there now.
Yeah, perhaps. All right. Back to you, Patty C.
Caught me all sorts of off guard. Let me get back over this. Jeez, oh fucking flip. Where are even the games? Okay, I got it.
Are there games played this Saturday?
I am going to go with, I'm going to go with a little personal flavor here, only because, and I'm going to ignore a game that you have listed above it, because I think this might have coastal implications or Atlantic implications.
Hey, milk it. It's the last year you can milk this coastal
that's true.
Atlantic thing, it sounds like.
That's true. And it potentially for Clemson could have national champion or at least playoff.
Stop it.
Playoff.
Stop it. They still got ukulele at quarterback?
Sometimes it may be good, sometimes it may be shit.
Actually, I think he's just shit the whole time.
Usually shit. Maybe shit. But this team still went 10-3 last year.
That's because the ACC sucks.
Well,
they almost lost 8 of those games.
It still sucks. And they don't have Georgia on the schedule this year.
Jerkovic's healthy. They can't beat Jerkovic.
They don't have national championship Georgia on the schedule,
Jerkovic.
who they played closer than pretty much every fucking team in the country last year. Okay, aside from Bama, who whipped the shit out of them.
Clemson makes the playoffs this year, I would be very shocked.
Would you really?
Yes.
Why?
Because I watched them last year, and that offense is horrible.
10-3, dude. 10-3.
Let Patty C state the game first.
They lose Venables. They lose Tony Elliott.
Clemson goes to Wake Forest.
10-3. That 10-3 is the same as SMU's 10-win season a couple years ago.
Wow.
I'll say that Patty C having this game number 4 is crazy.
Clemson goes to Wake Forest. Why is this crazy? Wake Forest was in the ACC.
Sam Hartman, baby.
Clemson hopes to get back to the ACC championship last year. These are the 2 favorites within this division.
I think NC State is the favorite this year.
Maybe this game is crazy because Clemson has beat Wake Forest 13 times.
In a row?
In a row. Sorry, in a row, of course.
Well,
maybe it's crazy because even last year, Clemson won by 21.
It's in the hornet's nest of Winston-Salem this year.
That's not a hornet's nest.
Yeah, Terrell Furman knows about that place.
All
right?
31,000 seats in that stadium will be rocking.
You have to go all the way back to 2008 when Wake Forest under Jim Grobe beat the Tommy Bowden-led Tigers 12-7.
Well, it's funny you should mention Jim Grobe because I'm drawing a blank on his name. Who's Wake's coach?
Dave Clawson.
Clawson said he asked Jim Grobe specifically what his strategy was.
How do you beat Clemson?
Yeah, how do you get to the top in general? He said, get old, and that's what he's been doing. You're going to redshirt, mother effer.
Is Sam Hartman the best quarterback in the ACC?
Sam Hartman is not only the best, he's the most handsome, and he's going to win the
better than Brennan Armstrong?
I think he's more
the top 2 quarterbacks in the ACC. Well, actually, no, Jerkovic might be in there too. Or Van Dyke. They got some good quarterbacks this year.
I can't get a read on Brendan Armstrong. Brendan Armstrong under a new coordinator will tell a lot about what he is.
But I will say it's definitely a big day for the Hartman for Heisman campaign.
Yeah, no doubt.
I just don't think they can handle the size and athleticism of Clemson. They haven't in a very long time.
Yeah, these are 2 teams that take a very different approach to trying to win football games.
Terrell Furman says, I can confirm the home crowd at Wake Forest sucks.
I've been to a game at Wake Forest. I'll second that.
Winston-Salem is also boys.
How many wins will it take for them to fucking be decent as a fan base?
Well,
Like, I mean, Clausen's got this program rolling right now.
when you have the same population as West Hollywood as your fan base, it makes it harder to get a lot of support.
West
Again,
Hollywood probably
it's a
got more.
small private school, so even people that live in the town are probably more like UNC fans than they are Wake Forest fans. It's kind of like Duke.
Without,
The school itself is what, 8,000 people?
Yeah,
You basically got
tiny.
William and Mary there.
All right, I'm on the clock. Get no more of this ACC trash. I was gonna take this game, but I just can't take it because it's played in a dome, and I hate the fact that this SEC matchup is in this dome because it should be on campus in Fayetteville and in College Station. I'm not taking it. Instead, I'm taking you to Ames, where I thought NC Nick was going to play this as the third best game of the week.
Obviously, this is the other, huge Big 12 matchup.
And I do believe you made the right choice here.
Better than Arkansas and A&M, you think? I mean, especially because Baylor was very close to making the playoffs, the Invitational a year ago. Iowa State, I mean, they're recruiting at a level they've never ever recruited at. This game, and I want to say, didn't Baylor get them last year? Even though Iowa State outgained them by 300 yards.
31-29. Iowa State failed a 2-point conversion, for the tie with 20 seconds left or something. It was a great game.
But if you look
year.
at the yardage, I want to say Iowa State outgained them by 300 yards, I thought, and Baylor just found ways to turn the ball over, much like the Michigan Panthers in the USFL. But yeah, this game's fantastic. Big 12 Colby here doing it. Nick, what do you think about this one, Big 12 hater?
I agree, man. The game last year was dynamite. The last 4 games, it split 2-2. So this game is coming down to the wire. Iowa State has lost a decent amount, but they're playing at home. It's a fun game. It's going to be close. Yeah, I like it here. It was a tough choice between that and Kansas State, Oklahoma. But I guess Oklahoma, just the name brand, that's why I picked that game over this one. But you can't go wrong with either.
Yeah, I mean, could this be a sample of the Big 12 championship this year?
It very well could be.
The odds came out, and guess who's favored to play in the Big 12 championship, guys? Oklahoma and Texas.
Wow.
They still have Texas.
What about Oklahoma
every
State?
fucking year? I know, but I'm telling you, based on the Vegas odds, they have Oklahoma and Texas playing again in the Big 12 championship, which never happens. Seems like.
Well, Art Briles took over from a 3-9 team, 4-8 in his first year, and then 10 wins by his fourth year. Jim Grove had a 1-year hangover, while Art Briles
still had a winning season,
7-6.
Yeah.
But then Matt Rule 1-11 in year 1, 11-3 by year 3. Dave Aranda 2-7 in year 1 when he took over, 12-2 in year 2. So Baylor, you expect after 1 or 2 years to be on top, and let's see if they can maintain that. Meanwhile, Matt Campbell 8-7 wins in consecutive years. Can we expect, with the expectations a little lower, for Iowa State to, jump back up into that 9-10 win range?
but they get fucked on the schedule. They're a classic example to me of when you look at that, the things we called out earlier in the episode. You look and they have, first off, Iowa State's losses are by 2, by 4, and they had, I think, 3 sets of back-to-back away in one season last year. I think it was. Yeah.
Oh,
you know what I mean? They get, if not last year, then it was 2019.
Team. Yeah.
But my point is that I feel like they're better. That people can. I watch other platforms and they say, "Can Iowa State get over the hump?" No, they can't. If you schedule like that, no one can get over that hump.
If you give them Texas,
it has nothing to do with
Oklahoma,
Matt Campbell
and TCU back-to-back on the road.
Look, the last time these teams have played, check out these scores. It was 31-29 last year. The year before that, 38-31. The year before that, 23-21. I mean, these are some great games. So I think I played the right one there. NC Nick, you are on the clock.
All right, well, we've already picked 5 games, meaning 10 teams, and we have yet to mention anybody from the Southeastern Conference, so allow me to be the first.
Are you playing Vandy at Bama?
No, not quite yet. I'm taking Florida at Tennessee. You know?
Oh, he's not going with Jerry. I like it.
No. I mean, look, this is a big rivalry. Granted, it's pretty lopsided also. Gators have won 5 in a row, but this is Billy Napier's first year. And I mean, this game is really about Tennessee. It's, are they ready to step up and really compete for the SEC East? Or is it going to be the same thing, the same program since like T. Martin, So with Heupel there, with Hendon Hooker at quarterback, Cedric Tillman, one of the best wide receivers in the conference. I mean, the time is now for Tennessee to step up. And that means beating Florida, beating your rival at home.
You know what's fascinating about this? So Tennessee's only won once since 2005.
Jeez.
Right? Since 2005. Check this out, though. Here's what's fascinating is Florida had some horrible years last year's team was terrible. Muschamp had a bad team. And McElwain had a bad team. And they still beat Tennessee those years. That's
Tennessee's had a really rough patch.
One win since 2005 against the Florida Gators.
Dude, but how about Billy Napier? First year in the first 4 games, he has a 10-win Utah team from last year, a 10-win Kentucky team from last year, and your arch rival on the road. That's a rough start, man.
It is. But is Kentucky really a 10-win team, or did that just they just pad that SEC East and soft out of conference schedule?
They won 10 games last year.
Yeah, and Will Levis. They're taught. Have you guys seen this shit? They're saying Will Levis will be the top quarterback drafted next year. What are they watching that I'm not watching?
I mean, he might be the best quarterback at Kentucky since Tim Couch, but that doesn't mean he's going to be drafted as
Andre
early as
Woodson
Couch
was
did.
pretty good, right? Andre Woodson back.
Hey, he ate a banana with its peel on, if I'm not mistaken. So
Andre Woodson did?
No. Will Levis.
Will Levis did?
With a very mean mug look on his face. So
he's not the hefty lefty Lorenzo.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, rest in peace, man. That's my guy.
What team did he play on in the Arena League?
Giants.
No, but he played in the Arena League too. But he was on the New York Giants.
Swamp Snakes, or
I think so.
I
Swamp Snakes.
Yeah. Look, I think you're playing this at the right spot. The question is the other SEC game better? But I actually think you're right, because this is more college football. It's on campus. They have Smokey the dog there. They'll have all this great shit going on down there. I've been down to Knoxville and partied. That's a great experience for college football. So then Patty C, it puts
again real quick. Florida, this had been an even rivalry till that streak by Florida. 2005. Since then, they've won 16 of the last 17. Prior to that,
how do you do that? And Jeremy Pruitt was handing out cash in McDonald's bags, and you still couldn't win.
Yeah. And
I guess Florida's paying their
Butch Jones was #1 recruiter in the nation. There you go, Josh Pate. You know why Josh Pate says you have to be an elite recruiter? Because that's the only kind of coach Tennessee can get, and that's where he went to school. So,
yeah, they keep firing coaches every couple of years.
They do the same thing on the basketball front.
Oh, with Rick Barnes. Yeah, you're right.
There it is. We're a state flagship, but we can't coach for shit.
All right, Patty C, you are on the clock.
All right. We are going to go. I guess I gotta go.
You got Brennan Armstrong on Friday night all by itself.
Tempting as that is.
No, that's a horrible matchup.
I mean, any game with the potential ACC coastal leaders is fun, but no, we are going. I guess we got to go to Jerry's World. It is time to admit that this is a game between two.
It is a great game. I mean, Arkansas won a year ago,
2010.
Yeah, I mean, I love this, like the actual matchup. I just hate the fact it's at Jerry's World. To me, it's like a road game for Arkansas. Why not play it at the 12th man and just completely show off the goods that is college football? 12th man's great.
Was this game played at the Cotton Bowl or wherever, Cowboys Stadium, while they were both in the Southwest Conference? I'm guessing it must have been, in order to for this tradition, what have you, to be continued, or whether they just decided randomly to go to a neutral site.
I don't know. It's a good question.
I'm quickly digging right now. Talk about the game.
I'm going to say this. I feel like the city of Dallas doesn't like either of these teams. I feel like A&M's a little too country for highfalutin Dallas, and Arkansas is way too country for highfalutin Dallas. They're just going to – this might as well be a fucking bowl game here. That said, this game has been remarkably competitive every single year. Arkansas with the upset last year was fantastic.
Treylon Burks, the current Tennessee Titan, went for 6 for 167 and a touchdown last year. And I think Arkansas, they surprised a lot of people in this game last year.
Pulled pork Pittman, baby. Now you know this though, that the Arkansas needed that win because A&M had won the previous 9 matchups.
Yeah,
9,
and those had all been like a lot of close games. I feel like weren't there some overtime?
There are 3 overtime matchups there.
Yeah.
So
Arkansas just getting the short straw there, but they finally got it done, and they threw a fucking right cross right down A&M's face.
And by the way, no, they weren't. I'm looking here in the 80s. A lot of them were happening in Little Rock or College Station.
So this is another made-up neutral site rivalry.
Little Rock.
Yeah, they would play some in Little Rock. They still do.
A&M loves some Little Rock for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But all that to say, I think this is kind of some traditional like Southwest SEC flavor here with.
I love the actual matchup. I think now, Texas A&M has been. Is this the year Jimbo turns the corner?
Maybe.
Can I pose the question? What if he was just never that good? Like he won a national championship at Florida State, but I think once again you have the benefit of playing that. Clemson wasn't Clemson then. You know what I mean? Like
and he also had Jameis Winston, who was a very elite college quarterback.
I mean,
I just feel like the ACC back then, you didn't even have to win in the playoffs. There was no invitational.
Look what Clemson's done. It's the same exact situation. Clemson wasn't up yet. Florida State was. So they're kind of
no. But the problem is that Miami and Virginia Tech were still down those years.
Well, they're still down now. What I'm saying is what Clemson has been doing for the last 8 years.
Fair enough.
Is what Florida State was doing for that 5 years or so under Fisher.
So is this the year that Fisher gets it done, Petty C?
No, I think I agree with you. I don't think he's an elite coach. I think he's like a Brian Kelly type, And so
$75 million man.
Right. Do they beat Arkansas? I expect a good game. I don't know if Pulled Pork Pittman's got it going on like that.
I think what do I got to remember? I remember this nugget here. Arkansas, I think one of 8 teams in the country that return their offensive coordinator, their defensive coordinator, their head coach, and their starting quarterback.
Wow. Big stat.
There you go.
Maybe the Razorbacks coming up.
And A&M's coming off that big game versus Miami.
Could be a letdown spot. I doubt it. But if Miami's good this year, maybe they're a little worn out. Let me say this. Virginia Tech and Texas A&M, both kind of military type schools. They both have their cadets or whatever. Arkansas and West Virginia, both complete redneck schools, if I'm not mistaken. So do we have 2 of the same exact matchups? The only difference is Virginia Tech, West Virginia is on campus, so that makes it the higher ranked game.
Yeah, 100%.
ROTC versus redneck, huh?
There it is. Redneck ROTC versus redneck.
All right. Well, look, I want to tell you guys, first off, that the college football experience is brought to you by Manscaped. Fellas, have you started spring cleaning yet? The carpets need cleaning, the drapes need dusting, and your lawn needs mowing. Spring has sprung, and the global leaders in below-the-waist grooming have the best tools for cleaning old aisle 5, a.k.a. in your pants. Time to clear out your winter bush and join the other 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code SGP. Yes, I mean, you gotta love this thing. Manscaped's got this lawnmower 4.0. I mean, that thing can do some serious damage right there in a good way. So go grab that thing. I mean, look, get 20% off plus free shipping with the promo code SGP at manscaped.com. It's time to throw out your old hygiene habits and upgrade your life, Patty C. All right.
That.
Yes. Now this concludes part 1 of the podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, stick around. We're just going to take a quick 5 seconds here. And we're back on the college football experience. Week 4 draft. We're rocking with Pick Dundee, Patty C, and NC Nick. It is currently on my selection. So, guys, this is where does it drop off a bit, you think? Or is it still going strong?
There's one more round of picks. Then it drops
One
off.
more round of picks. Okay. Well, look, I'm gonna take us to with knowing what's happening. I think Big 12 Colby is gonna make a mark here. Knowing that Texas is on the way out the door. This game was wild as shit last time in Lubbock. I can't believe Texas Tech didn't get the win this one.
Oh yeah.
Texas got 2 onside kicks in the final 2 minutes to get this win. I'm taking Texas at Texas Tech, but just a lot of this logic here is just the fact that Texas is on the way out the door, and Lubbock is going to be rocking with the thought of, hey, can we put this might be the last time Texas plays at Lubbock in a long time.
Remember the basketball game this year?
Yes.
That was wild.
Yes. So I think this one is going to be batshit crazy. We are the college football experience. And look, if you want the college football experience, we've mentioned some great rivalries. Virginia Tech, West Virginia, that I think would be amazing to go to. I think this one low-key slept on this week. Texas at Texas Tech, Patty C. What do you think?
You might be right. These two teams, it's tough to really tell how the people in Texas view this rivalry. I feel like West Texas and East Texas have two different cultures. West Texas is like the true desert. East Texas, I don't have quite a grasp on it. I feel like it's a little like a both, deserty and whatever, redneck. And so I think there is a cultural difference. Having read Friday Night Lights, they were really proud of West Texas football. And I think Texas Tech, being one of pretty much the only Power 5 school in West Texas, is really proud of that program. Joey McGuire, we're going to see what he's got up his sleeve. Steve Sarkisian probably needs this one. Can't fall asleep at the wheel. Can't fall asleep drunk at the wheel.
And Texas has dominated this rivalry over the years. Even with even with all this, it's been since 2017 the last time Texas got that win. Or I'm sorry, Texas Tech got that win. But I just feel like this one, the stakes are higher. Stakes are higher in this matchup than traditionally a Texas Tech game. So,
well, I'm looking at it right now. Texas Tech is Texas's 8th most played rival, but Texas is Texas Tech's 2nd most played rival. So I do think it means a little more to Texas Tech. And does that mean they come away with the W here, especially with Texas on its way out the door? Let's hope so.
I can't wait to watch this one. Nick, your thoughts on Texas Tech? Did I take it too high for you?
No. I'm totally fine with it. I'm Big 12 Nick now. Last year was 70-35. Texas won in Austin. But the key thing here is that this game is in Lubbock. The last 3 matchups in Lubbock, you mentioned the game in 2020 that was 63-56 in overtime. Texas won, but also what?
I said I still can't believe they lost that game. They had like a 21-point lead in the fourth quarter.
But every time they play in Lubbock, it's close. 2018, it was 41-34. 2016, 45-37. I mean, you get the point. But it has been since 2008 since Texas Tech has actually won at home. So
was that the Crabtree game?
Which one? Yeah, 2008 was the Crabtree game.
Was it?
Yeah,
that was a great game.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, that was a classic. Mike Leach getting it done.
So I like this. The stands are going to be wild, and I think you have to look for a live home dog here, definitely.
There we go. All right, NC Nick.
All right, let me get back.
Where are
to
you
the
going
ACC,
here?
Okay, let me get back to the ACC. Talking about some of these Big 12 games, it was fun. It was cute, but let me get back to the ACC. Notre Dame at UNC. Look, 3rd straight year these teams have squared off against each other. Notre Dame won both of them, 44-34 and 31-17. And really, I mean, the more finesse Tar Heels they haven't been able to handle the physicality and the line play of the Fighting Irish.
I think it was 2020 season.
Yeah.
where, in my opinion, North Carolina got severely outcoached.
Carolina was coming into that game like
North
pretty
Carolina
high
had the
ranked.
better, on a roster standpoint, I believe North Carolina's roster was more talented.
Well, I can tell you, Kyron Williams has run wild on the Tar Heels for 2 years in a row. It was $1.99 last year. Year before that, I think it was like $1.30 or something. So yeah, can UNC handle the Notre Dame rushing attack? I would probably say probably not, but it's an interesting game. It is in Chapel Hill, so at least they have that on their side.
Yeah. Patty C, what do you make of this game?
Well, I mean, exactly what you guys are saying. And I saw the same thing that UVA has had to deal with when they played Notre Dame over the past few years. They've got some speed on the edge, but like Notre Dame with the Big Ten offensive lineman and then like really recruiting toward the offensive line, the advantage in the trenches is obvious that Notre Dame has it. They both collapse the offensive line of Notre Dame and North Carolina, and they run right through it on offense.
What if I told you they've played 21 times? Notre Dame has 20 wins. North Carolina's got 1.
Oh,
I don't think it's going to get any better here.
What year was that one win?
1960. 1960, 12-7.
Jeez. Does
probably Roman Gabriel had a good game that
No, he was NC State, man.
Was he?
I don't know who the fuck.
That's a pretty damn good pull that you even know Roman Gabriel was in in the state.
Look, yeah, East Carolina fans know that. Yeah. But you're saying for Nick. Yeah, you're right.
Both you guys. Fucking Roman Gabriel, it might as well be Sid Luckman. Like, I don't know shit about these guys. But...
I love how we got a Sid Luckman pull.
Well, actually, UNC was one of the last like Power 5 teams to have a starting quarterback in the NFL. It was T.J. Yates. Remember him
for the Texans?
He was the first ever Tar Heel to start in the NFL at quarterback, which is crazy.
That's insane. That is insane.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're playing the right. I think this game needs to be played right around here. So it makes sense to me.
In the ballpark.
It makes sense to me. I might have one ahead of it.
Yeah.
But we'll see if we get to that. But Patty C, you are now on the clock.
Well, obviously, there's one of personal nature that is in the ballpark right now. But I am going to go with a game that really stands out to me to this day as like a hornet's nest situation that cost USC a national championship back in 2008. They were the best team in the country in 2008. In my humble opinion.
I think they were one. Yes, they were.
Oklahoma, Florida, both awesome. It wasn't by a landslide. The fucking resumes were razor thin. I can even understand why Oklahoma, with this loss to Oregon State, was left out of the equation. But do I think they were the best team in the country?
Dude,
yes.
USC played 12 Power 5s that year.
Yeah.
They were the best team in the country.
Dude, they let up for a fucking half.
They were
on a Thursday night.
Look, going back, doing some of the data on USC, holy shit. As much as I hate them, I have to respect them because they have like 8 or 9 years in the past 20 years where they've played 12 Power 5s.
Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
You hear that, Alabama? You hear that, Georgia?
Dude, I mean,
you hear that, Ohio State?
The team in like 2005 that won the national championship, I think it was.
Yeah.
Their schedule that year is crazy. You look at it, you're like, holy shit.
But the SEC is harder, so we only have to play 4 games against.
So we have Wofford on the schedule.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this is a great game, and I think Jonathan Smith at Oregon State, watch out. Lincoln Riley. Look, Lincoln Riley, as much as, look, I'm a big Lincoln Riley guy, and I know we're going to have some arguments in the future because I know we have some stuff behind the scenes going on with some coach rankings. He's known. We've mentioned K-State giving, Oklahoma. They've won 2 of the last 3 against Oklahoma. Riley is known to drop a game or 2 in the regular season. Matt Campbell gives him a hard time.
That's true.
Watch out for this game. Watch out for this game because
and it's in those little unexpected hornet's net spots.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like in Pullman or I mean, well, for him, he's never been there, but in the Big 12, yes. Yeah, it's like Manhattan or Ames. Yeah.
I mean, fucking where's Oregon State guy?
They should. I mean, Oklahoma should have lost to Kansas last year if Caleb Williams doesn't do a crazy pitch play. It was a 4th and 5. He was stopped.
Why am I drunk? Where's Oregon State? What's this?
Corvallis.
Corvallis. Yeah, that's a hornet's nest.
Nick, what do you think of USC at Oregon State?
No, this one's fun, man. I mean, I mentioned last week that USC is must-watch football this year, and Corvallis is very dangerous. First off, the Beavers beat USC in LA last year, 45-27. Their first win in the Coliseum since 1960. And Oregon State went 6-0 at home last year, beating the likes of Utah, Arizona State, Washington.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're very dangerous at home.
No, they're really good at home. Patty C has not given Jonathan Smith the amount of respect he deserves, in my opinion.
Very slow to adjust and accept Oregon State as a legitimate threat.
6-0 at home last year, so watch out, Trojans. I'm not saying Oregon State's going to win, but I will say take the points.
I mean, the last time Oregon went there, it took to Corvallis 2 years ago when they had a really good team.
It should have cost them their
Pac-12
championship appearance.
I love this matchup. That's what I would have played above Notre Dame, North Carolina, but it's all right there. Yeah. All right, that goes over to Lloyd Dundee. Man, it's hard. Now is where it really drops off, right? I feel like we can say this really drops off.
Yeah,
now.
fair enough.
You watch your tongue. There is an elite game that both NC Nick and myself are deeply invested in here.
You know what? I'm going to take a shot on rowing this boat to East Lansing.
Could be impactful.
Minnesota at Michigan State. Mel Tucker, he's getting all the accolades. Just got like $100 million. You can't pay the players, but Mel Tucker just made $100 million and he's got, I think, he's got a career record of 14-13. Look, he had a great year last year. I'm not trying to blast Mel Tucker, but I find it crazy to give him that type of money, not knowing that his other 2 seasons as a head coach were losing seasons.
Here's the thing,
right?
Michigan State 2-0 against Harbaugh under his fucking watch.
That's true.
That's where the 100.
He's 2-0 against Harbaugh. That's
Michigan,
true.
Yeah.
That is true. So, but look, PJ Fleck brings back everyone. You remember Muhammad Ibrahim got knocked out for the season, that stud running back, tore his Achilles. He's back. Tanner Morgan elected to use that COVID year. He's back.
Okay.
Minnesota. I'm telling you, a lot of people kind of sleeping on the Gophers. I think they could be the team to come out of the Big Ten West this year.
Both those dudes underperformed a little bit, but didn't Ibrahim?
No, Ibrahim was balling. He got injured in the Ohio State game, and then they blew that game. Yeah,
you're right.
He had a good first half too. I think he was over 100 yards in the first half or something.
Yeah, he's a baller. He's a baller. So Minnesota at Michigan State. Do you guys smell that upset? I smell that upset. Row that boat right in there. Tell Larry Nassar to get the fuck out of the way. All right, because PJ Fleck's going to get it done in East Lansing. What do you make of this game, Nick?
Yeah, it's a good one. I might add a couple ones a little bit higher, but Michigan State is coming on the heels of that tough road trip to Seattle. So I think Minnesota catches them in a pretty good spot here. But just on record alone last year, you got an 11-2 squad versus a 9-4 team. Both finished third in their divisions, but both had a shot, down the stretch run to win, the East and the West. They're different divisions here. So, yeah, it should be a good one here. I look at Minnesota's schedule, and they do dodge Ohio State and Michigan from the East, but they get at Michigan State and at Penn State with Rutgers at home. So
they can win those.
Big Ten not really doing them any favors. You would think a year where they dodge the Buckeyes and Michigan, but then they get at Sparty and at the Nittany Lions. I mean, those are tough places to win.
Yeah, they could have used the at Rutgers and a home to Michigan State or Penn State.
Exactly.
The entire, you're talking about giving them the extreme minority of the Big Ten East. That is an impossible conference. If you're getting 2 cross division games from that division, you're getting fucked pretty much.
You just hope one of the tough ones is at home.
Occasionally, someone will get Rutgers and Maryland and be like, 11-win season coming.
Hit the lottery.
Ohio State gets both of those every year.
Yeah.
Well, I guess they do.
Yeah, they do.
The East, but maybe Wisconsin does. Anyway.
All right. Patty C, you like that game?
Oh, gosh.
Minnesota at Michigan State. What do you think of it?
Yeah, I'd be interested to see. I mean, both teams you would let me ask you this. Michigan State starting the season, Western Michigan at home. Akron at home.
No, the Akron game pisses me off. You know that drives me crazy because that was supposed to be Boise State. They bought out Boise State because they didn't want to play that game.
Didn't they make some
put
bullshit
Akron there.
excuse or
Yeah.
something? Yeah. Okay, they put Akron at home instead. They should be 2-0. Their road trip to Washington. Michigan State of Washington, that's an elite game. I don't know how well we rated that last week, but that should be pretty damn competitive.
I had that as the sixth. Well, I drafted that game as it was the sixth best game last week.
You almost can't blame Michigan State for bailing on Boise. I mean, do they really want to play Boise at Washington and Minnesota?
Well,
3 weeks
that's
in a
their
row?
fault because I can blame them because Boise already came to East Lansing and Michigan State barely snuck out with the win. I think it was like 16-14.
So you want them to play back-to-back road trips at
Well,
Boise?
manage
and
your
at
schedule.
Washington?
No. My point is this: is that they've already done their job and played at East
Yeah,
Lansing.
schedule them week 1
All
so
right?
you don't have to go back.
Yeah, or schedule them another fucking year. Either
They
way,
don't bail on
This
your
shit
contract.
happens. Games get canceled all the time.
yeah, your wife. We know your wife went to Michigan State, buddy. All right, we know that. All right, and she's
You're not
probably
fooling anyone.
overhearing you, trying to score some points.
Hey,
All right,
Nick hasn't been laid in a week. He's trying to get some.
I have been married 8 years, so
so yeah. I mean, shit.
If you're getting laid once a
Yeah.
week after 8 years of marriage, you're a fucking pimp.
I hit the lottery if
Yeah.
that happens.
All right. NC Nick, it's back to you.
All right, I know Patty C was talking about a very interesting Sun Belt game.
Just do it. Just do it.
I'm going to go with a different Sun Belt game.
This is a slap in the face.
And now, look, both of them are very high. You could go either way, but this one is also Thursday night. I mentioned it earlier. Coastal Carolina at Georgia State. This is a huge Sun Belt East matchup. 2 of the best 3 teams.
Yeah.
And last year, hold on. Last year, Georgia State won 42-40 in Conway. I mean, the question is, are these 2 teams playing Thursday night better than the 2 teams you guys picked 30 minutes ago in West Virginia and Virginia Tech?
That's what sucks. They should move this to Friday because no one wants to watch Virginia Syracuse. This is
Yeah,
better
they
than
really
Virginia
should.
Syracuse.
Definitely.
But in God's eye, I guess I'll be fine. I'll have both these games on. But I love this game. And by the way, Georgia State leads the all-time series, Nick, 3-2. So
I
can
know.
your Chanticleers
Tied up.
can they tie it up is the question.
You know what's crazy about that? So in that series, 5 games, the road team has won every time.
That's wild. That's wild. That's absolutely wild. And Coastal Carolina, last time they were in Atlanta, won 51-0. Grayson McCall is back. They still got Teddy Gallagher. The mullet, Jamie Chadwell, is alive and rocking in Conway. But this
Dude,
one's in Atlanta.
I bet you Teddy Gallagher is playing in the USFL in a couple years.
Hey,
Can't
man.
you see him being Scooby, right?
Yes, I could. 100%. What do you make of this game, Patty? See Coastal Carolina, Georgia State.
Well, Georgia State ended up becoming closer to the team we expected them to be with their 22 returning starters last year, but it took them probably 4 or 5 weeks to get it. After 5 weeks, I think we were pretty disappointed. Then they figured it out toward the end of the season.
They found the right quarterback.
Yeah, that was part of it. Also, choking like a mofo against Auburn hurt pretty bad.
That one was
But
ridiculous.
either way, they were a good team. I don't know how much we have to do our deep dive on Georgia State this year before I can feel comfortable talking about them. But I do feel comfortable saying Coastal Carolina probably should be back. Grayson McCall's on his way back, right?
Yeah, and Gallagher, that beast linebacker.
Beach football in South Carolina is there, but
I was thinking about the past 10 years of college football, going through stuff. Has there been a team that is really like captured? Like I feel like Coastal
the
Carolina
beach vibe.
that just kind of emerged out of nowhere. That really has
COVID
like
year.
what team do you think like 10 years ago you never watched one of their games?
Well,
and,
a
like,
team that emerged with that much success and that much swag,
yeah.
tough. It's tough. Pretty unique in that sense.
I love that matchup Thursday night. Can't wait for it. Coastal Carolina, Sun Belt, Fun Belt. We know the Sun Belt, the new Sun Belt, probably my favorite conference now, man. I can't wait to watch the new
Now,
Sun Belt.
I will say, I mean, we're getting a way ahead of ourselves here because I think this is like week 9 or 10. It's early November. App State plays at Coastal on a Thursday night.
Yes.
I'll be there. Already setting wheels in motion, and that's far in advance here. But that game is going to be a lot of fun.
Please grow out your mullet.
I'll start growing it now.
Please do it.
You will be one of 50,000 fans in the stands with the mullet.
All right, man. I'm on the clock. Oh, no, sorry. Patty C's on the clock. Patty C, your pick. Are we staying in the Sun Belt?
Temptation is very much there. Yes. We're going to stay in the Sun Belt, although there is another game on my radar, but I do believe it'll be around for a little longer. But we're going to stay in the Sun Belt for a reason. Because James Madison University is playing their first really tough game within this conference, right?
The first game within the conference in general.
Yeah.
Well,
And I mean, look, you're wearing the JMU hat. We know you played there. JMU's got a rich history, but not against App State. App State is 12-4 against JMU. Do you want that smoke in Boone? I don't think you do in Boone.
Well, they're scared. And here's why. They scheduled an early bye week before this game.
we're not scared. We're fucking smart, okay? Meanwhile, App State is cocky. They scheduled North Carolina, although they got them at home. Kudos to them for that. Then they go to fucking Boone or Kyle Field, and then
you do catch him at a decent spot.
And then
right?
Troy State, which is no fucking gimme. But then the App State doing some pretty good scheduling there, though. I got to give it to them. JMU should. I mean, Middle Tennessee, we're gonna find out how good JMU is at the FBS level, because I feel like Middle Tennessee State, respectable program. Norfolk State, we should beat them. They're still FCS. We were better than last year. We get the bye week. Now we get our first real test at this level. If we come in and we slap a team that's had as much success as App State, fuck you all. Okay.
What am I
taking over the division?
There was a part of that in the beginning of that sentence, that rant, where I felt like you were Lou Holtz. I felt like there was just a faucet going on. I was like, I can't.
There's a lot of alcohol.
Well, I don't get. They bring the
Everyone
head cold.
watching this YouTube video sees me drinking like a fucking fish over here. Midweek, okay. It's
So
a
can you
hard
get me a
work
glass? I'll have some with you, man.
All
Can you
right,
go
I'll
get
go
me a
get
glass?
one. I
Thank you.
got you.
But dude, seriously, I mean, this has showed that the Sun Belt has arrived. The last two games, all 4 Sun Belt East teams. I love it.
Yeah, Patty C, give me some ice too. Yeah, no, this is a great matchup, man. But and actually, JMU did win the last matchup they played back in 2008. JMU won 35-32 in Harrisonburg, but they haven't won in Boone since 1991. All right, I don't even think Charles Haley or Norwood or Gary Clark was on that roster. But yeah, I mean, this is the new Sun Belt. It's going to be fucking fantastic, man.
Hell yeah.
It's going to be absolutely fantastic. So this puts myself on the clock. All right. Actually, you know what? I'm going to read an ad. I'm going to get us paid. I want to tell you the college football experience is brought to you by Athletic Greens and their AG1 supplement. Probably wondering, hey, what is this stuff, Colby? What the hell are you talking about, right? Well, with one delicious scoop of AG1, you're absorbing 75 high-quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens to help you start your day right. This special blend of ingredients supports your gut health, your nervous system, your immune system, your energy, your recovery, your focus, your aging, all those things. And it costs less than $3 a day. You're investing in your health, and it's cheaper than your cold brew habit. You got to do it. AG1 supports better sleep quality and recovery, and Athletic Greens has over 7,000 5-star reviews. To make it easy, Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of immune-supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you have to do is visit athleticgreens.com/SGP. Again, that is athleticgreens.com/SGP to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. All right, folks, we are back.
Jameson and ginger?
I just do it on the rocks.
Kobe looks down on mixed drinks.
I don't need no training.
What a little hipster. Good God. Look at his glasses. Say no more. And he's wearing a San Francisco Oakland A's hat.
San
over
Francisco, that's Oakland, man.
there. Same difference.
No, there's a big
There
difference.
is a big
Yeah.
difference. Let's be honest. I wonder what the interaction between San Francisco and Oklahoma or Oakland residents is.
But I do think San Francisco or Oakland's turning more and more like San Francisco
It's getting pretty hipster.
Well, no, because like they can't afford it. It's all tech. So
They're
you're
all
getting
moving to
you're
Oakland?
getting all the hippies that are moving over to Oakland.
You got to give the hipsters credit for that. Like they're just like moving to the fucking hood and make it happen. They're braver than we give them credit for.
Buddy. Anyway, okay, next up we got well, it's my pick. Let me just let's go to I'm going to take you to Tempe, where I don't care that Arizona State had a million transfers. They play good in Tempe, and they just got Emory Jones also. Sure, Arizona State had a bunch of players transfer out. And I heard this. I heard when Jaden Daniels left, the locker room rejoiced.
I did hear that too.
Yeah. So that maybe Herm, if he's still coaching by week 1, maybe they get it done here and pull the upset against I'll tell you this, Utah in the first 4 weeks have to go to the swamp and the desert. That's a tough those are tough games, man. If you look the last time I want to say they went there, first off, they're 10-22 all time against Arizona State. But I think if you look at the history here, the last time they played in Tempe, they lost by 18 in 2018. They did win in 2016, but prior to that, they hadn't won in Tempe. So they've won once in Tempe since 1977.
Wow.
Watch out. Dangerous game. You know, Utah is going to be favored here.
How many times have they played in Tempe since 1977?
A decent amount.
These teams have only played 32 times ever.
No, but look, they lost in 77. They won in 76. They've lost in Tempe. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So they're 1-10 at Tempe since 1976. Yeah.
Utah State or Arizona State had dominated this rivalry up into 2014. I'm looking at this. There's a streak started or ending in 2014 of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games. Since then, Utah winners of 4 of the last 6. It's easy to see a tide turn. Colby.
It is easy to see a tide turn, but getting them in Salt Lake City is half the battle there.
Yeah, that's true.
I think tide turning, as I remember, I was raised in the desert, but tides kind of turn. It's easy to see a tide turn. Did I say those words?
Nick, what do you think of Utah at Arizona State?
Yeah, it should be a fun one, man. And you hit the nail on the head here. If it was in Salt Lake City, it's probably not that good of a matchup. Utah won there by 14 last year. But in the desert, in Tempe, it's going to be a very interesting game. I think it will be close. Utah trying to defend its Pac-12 title from a year ago. I think it's played at the right spot. Should be a good one. Hopefully not on too late.
Let me ask you this. Corvallis, Pullman, and Tempe. And I guess you can throw Salt Lake City in there. Which one's the hardest to win at?
Corvallis?
Well, if you're also talking about the strength of the team, then Salt Lake City, definitely.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's kind of been recent, but I just feel like all 4 are kind of low key, really hard places to grab a win.
I would say Tempe should be harder during the day, but it seems like
the Big Ten has never won at Arizona State. They play pretty frequently.
And they just get housed every time.
Whether it's Wisconsin, whether it's whoever, whether they get fucked up by
desert night games that are like really, I don't know, they spook teams. Corvallis, same thing. The woods at night. I feel like you can go to Utah any time of day and you're gonna
get your ass whooped. Yeah.
The elevation is gonna fuck you.
Yeah.
Well,
That place.
I feel like the elements are play a factor often in Corvallis and at Washington State. Whether it be
it's like raining or
rain
snowing or
snow.
sleet. Yeah.
I feel it's more stable, obviously in Tempe, but it's different than, especially if you're coming from Wisconsin or something.
Yeah, not necessarily any easier,
right?
More predictable, but
right.
110 degrees is 110 degrees.
It's a dry heat.
It's a dry heat.
All right, NC Nick, you are on the clock.
All right, how about the Battle of Dallas and Fort Worth?
Whoa.
Wait, is that on the schedule?
Well, especially because they used to coach
Why
with
is
each
this
other.
so far down the list? I didn't even.
Come
peek
on,
this far down
TCU
yet.
at SMU.
It's a
Always a
great
fun
game.
game.
The Battle of the Frying Pan or whatever.
Iron skillet, like like the gridiron, like football itself. Yeah,
Well,
This
and you
this should be Friday night too. It'd be a great Friday night game.
should be.
You got
Go
to
ahead.
love the fact that Sonny Dykes employed Rhett Lashley just 2 or 3 years ago, and now they're facing each other.
Right. And TCU had won 7 in a row from 2012 to 2018, but SMU has won the last 2. If you're talking about tides turning,
Ooh,
I think
Very
that-
Texas thing to say there.
you guys
There-
really.
It's easy to see a tide turn.
Isn't George W. from Dallas or
Yeah,
thereabouts?
yeah, Houston,
this-
I think. It was one of them. Yeah. No, this is a good matchup. It is a good matchup, but this is going to be very interesting because they're both run the same stuff. So this.
I'm
should
very
be-
interested to see Rhett Lashley down there. I think he's going to do well.
Yeah. I think you can make the case that SMU's in a better situation now with Rhett Lashley than they were with Sonny Dykes. I don't know. We'll see. I wasn't big on the Sonny Dykes hire by TCU, but this is a fun game. Patty C, you like this one? You think it's played right here?
I love it. Look, you got to feel like SMU. They got shafted in the 80s. They took the death penalty. They watched TCU's emergence in the 2000s, starting with probably LaDainian Tomlinson straight up to finishing in the top 5. And then finally they've managed to turn it around. These are, what is this? Fort Worth versus Dallas?
Yeah.
Let it come on. SMU belongs in the Big 12. They're make another audition today in a
There we
competitive game.
I like it. All right. Well, Patty C, that puts you back on the clock.
I'm taking on a personal flavor here. There are a couple that could potentially fill that exact category, but we're going for, you know what, when I mentioned earlier that UCF gets a 2-for-1 for Florida and UCF would get a 2-for-1 with Indiana, actually, or a 1-for-1 with Indiana, Cincinnati is getting that 1-for-1 with Indiana. And so there's your example, a power conference team versus a group of 5 team. One gets a 2-for-1.
Ohio State would never do a home and home with Cincinnati.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, they haven't had a home or a road game against a group of 5 team in state in like 500 years. So Indiana at Cincinnati.
Indiana did only win 2 games last year, though.
It doesn't matter because here's why. Because this is one of the biggest threats supposedly on Cincinnati's schedule. It is a little bit of a local rivalry. There's some recruiting at stake here. And everyone expects Cincinnati to go to Arkansas week 1 and take that L. Suppose that doesn't happen. This is one of the only other few things that stands in Cincinnati's way after Cincinnati's playoff performance last year. Well, not a great playoff appearance last year and draft performance. Is there any reason that they can't make the playoff again?
Well, yeah, the draft performance and all the players they lost.
Okay.
But he's saying if they run the table again.
Well,
Yeah.
sure.
Indiana leads this all-time series 9-4, Patty C.
Well, that's about to be 9-5 because the Bearcats are trending
I tend to believe you.
in the right direction.
I tend to believe you here. Nick, what do you make of Cincinnati taking on at home the Indiana Hoosiers?
It's picked a little too high, but look, we all like when Power 5 teams play on the road against the American Conference or the Sun Belt or whatever. So it's a decent game. I think Cincinnati does win. I think Indiana's flash in the pan season from 2020 is a thing in the way past, so go Bearcats.
Let me say this. At Arkansas, Kennesaw at home, Miami at home, Indiana at home.
Miami, Ohio.
Ohio, right. Should they get through that, the rest of the schedule, pretty manageable. Cincinnati,
Dude, they lost a lot, though. You don't even know who the quarterback's going to be.
Let me tell you this. A 3-star fucking Desmond Ridder, third round draft pick to the Falcons, bringing in Mr. Ohio, Evan Prater. Hey, guess what? Winning helps you recruit.
Ben Bryant.
Yeah,
Ben Bryant. We shall see what happens there in Cincinnati. Yeah, I think it's okay. I think I would take a few over this, but
it's only because it's a group of 5 team beating a Power 5 team in a potentially marquee matchup.
There you go. It is on my pick here, and I am going. I mean, there's a lot out there still. That Duke Kansas game. That's catching my eye.
Don't steal it from me.
Man, I feel like I gotta play this one.
Do it. It's talking to you. I know it's talking to you. And it's probably the best game. Your ranking's a little fucked up here.
All right, let's go to Greenville.
Oh, not the one I was.
Navy at East Carolina. Look, I'm a sucker for the triple option. Actually, despite ECU's success when they had Ruffin McNeil, or whether it's Mike Houston, Navy fucks them up. Navy is a bad team to play. Like as an ECU fan, you cringe when you see this matchup. You cringe because you're like, wait, are they going to fuck us up again? I mean, they've had some really. I'm going to pull up some scores for you on why these games have been, especially with Scotty Montgomery. With Scotty Montgomery, these things got really out of hand, like really fucking out of hand. Here we go. So the last time they played last year, ECU won 38-35, like a 55-yard game-winning field goal. Their ECU's 2-7 against Navy, 0-4 at home against Navy, and look at these ass whoopings. Look at these ass whoopings. What Navy has done to them. Navy dropped 76 points on ECU. 76 to 35.
76 points
because they also dropped 56 in Greenville the next time they went to Greenville. 56 to 28. Scotty Montgomery he lost 42 to 10. I mean, this guy got his ass whooped by Navy every game. So Mike Houston, though, this ECU team's got something special brewing this year, and that's Cincinnati's biggest problem. As much as I think Niumatalolo is going to have Navy back bowling, they take an L in Greenville. Nick, what are your thoughts? ECU Navy.
You guys are getting crazy, man. You guys are passing up a lot of good games. Come on, ECU Navy. Nobody's watching this.
Yeah, dude. Navy last 4 years. Granted, they had an 11-2 sandwiched in there, but 3-10, 11-2, 3-7, 4-8.
Navy is a better football program than Indiana.
Okay, but ECU is not as good a program.
They're better than Indiana
as
too.
Cincinnati is. But anyway, go ahead.
You guys are reaching. You guys are reaching big time here. Let me get us back on track. All right.
There's the voice of reason. I read that comment, by the way.
That's right. What did that was my comment. What did the fan who did the review say?
No, I thought he said that the voice of reason.
That was me replying to it saying, yes, I am the voice of reason. He said, oh, geez, I
don't remember now. Yeah, I don't remember now either.
Don't give Nick credit for being the voice of reason here.
Voice of reason because he plays 30 fucking ACC games. That guy's got to be a fucking. He went to Duke, I'm sure. Anyway, Navy ECU, you like it, Nick?
He said NC Nick is the rational one. Exactly. I'm rational. No, I don't like this game. I'm not going to be watching it.
It's rational
it's a snooze fest.
To play Duke, Boston College in the top 30 games. Unfucking believable. All right. That's what I'd say to that guy.
I did. All right. My turn's next, right? Let me drop a better game. Here. Play your damn Oregon at Wazoo. How is this not a better game?
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
Thank you.
I missed that one. But it's not that far. Like ECU Navy's in this realm.
Dude, Oregon has lost 2 out of the last 3 at Wazoo. Dan Lanning is on upset alert here. I mean, Oregon starts his. You're right. You're right here. Look, I unlike some of those other platforms, will admit when I'm wrong. All right.
Nick dialed in a little tighter than we are.
Oregon at Washington State. I did miss that one. And I think I actually missed another one now that you bring it up. Shout out to the Pac-12 because they actually have some pretty good matchups that perhaps we're overlooking.
So you say Dan Lanning on upset alert here.
Yeah, and I mean, look at his tenure. Starts with Georgia neutral site, BYU at home, and at Wazoo. 3 out of his first 4 games. What is their record after that stretch?
Spit that out again. It was
so there's one cupcake. I think they play Eastern Washington, but other than
Georgia,
that's not a cupcake either.
True,
Georgia and Atlanta. Eastern Washington.
They beat UNLV in I know it's UNLV, but they beat a Mountain West team last year.
It's not that far of a trip for Eastern Washington to go to Oregon.
Right. Georgia neutral site, BYU at home at Wazoo.
0-4. No, maybe 1-3 though. Maybe 1-3.
I mean, this rivalry, by the way, now I get it. Wazoo is 41-51, so Oregon has this rivalry by 10. But I'm telling you, it's chippy. When Leach was there, and then even with Rolovich, these scores. Last time they were in Pullman, Oregon won 43-29. That score was misleading. They added a late touchdown, right? But these games are fucking close. So Wazoo won the game before the 2 games before that in Pullman.
Yep.
And then you go back to 2014 when Oregon went to the national championship. They only won by 7 in Pullman. Or no, Oregon lost the national championship in 14, right, to Ohio State. This is a sneaky place. I beg the question. Would you rather play, if you're a head coach, would you rather play at Oregon State or at Washington State?
It's a great question. Look, this is what I want to ask you guys, because you guys are so much more dialed into Washington State, and you have been for like 30 years, right?
Yeah.
Washington State, by the time, I mean, I saw Ryan Leaf take him to the
Rose
Bowl, you know, and Drew Bledsoe doing well before that. And
Mark Rippon
had 6 Mark
Jack
Rippon.
Thompson.
Apparently their quarterbaip,
Yeah.
But
Tim Rosenball.
Some success since then. God damn, they were cranking them out.
Yeah.
But I just think of them as kind of like an Oregon State-ish second-tier program, even though Leach had some damn good years with them.
Mike Price had some great years with them in the 90s.
What is Washington State? What is Washington? Are they? Give me another team that I should relate to them.
Washington, Nick. So, what would you compare Washington State and Oregon State to, like East Coast teams?
That's tough, man.
I would say, like,
obviously they don't get the talent. I mean, I think they're more relatable to like Kansas State or something.
Yeah,
that's pretty high damn praise.
Tough
Washington
place.
State's had some great years, man.
Yeah, a very tough place to play. It's in the middle of nowhere. They don't get the top talent. They do more with less. They get JUCOs. They, have to build people up through their program. It's kind of tough to compare them to an East Coast team.
It's funny that you said K-State because my first thought was Missouri.
Okay, yeah, I think that makes sense.
That was just the first thing that popped into my mind.
They have some up years. They have some surprisingly up years.
It's still a sneaky road game too. Like I actually think at Wazoo is even harder than at Missouri, but
I like both those comparisons.
Yeah,
it is just like a team that you don't think should be that good, but lo and behold, here they are winning 10, 11 games.
So what would Oregon State be then?
Same thing.
Yeah,
not quite as high lately, but.
I mean, they still had some great seasons with Riley and Erickson.
Yeah. We'll see if they get back on track. But
no, this is a great game. I really feel like we did whiff on this one. Me and Patty C fell asleep on this game particularly.
Pac-12 Nick in the house.
All right, Patty C.
Where are we going here? We have officially hit the shit fest here.
I don't know. I mean, I got some games I like out there.
Got some games here.
Yeah.
What games do you like that are out there?
Dude, I have a lot that I have higher than Indiana, Cincinnati.
The Golden Guido?
Yes.
The Golden Guido. Where's fucking that's one of the games you want to see? That will be a 40-point ass whipping. Okay.
I was weird on the road. Although those numbers are kind of tell me that I was good on the road, but I guarantee you this, they probably aren't blowouts.
Yeah, I mean they don't really have that kind of gear. Whenever is the quarterback coming back?
Spencer Petras? Yeah.
Petras is coming back. They're not putting 40 on anyone this year.
Petras
versus their defense might. What's
Petras versus Vedral is an awful quarterback.
No, but Rutgers has that freshman. He played a little bit last year.
Okay,
that was a really high recruit.
Please start him.
And I'm assuming he gets the nod, but maybe they go Vedral. Maybe they give him one more year.
We're all about pound the fucking rock.
Are you going this? Are you selecting this game?
If I have to watch Noah Vedral versus Spencer Petras,
that sounds
even
great.
I will turn that game on.
What are you talking about? That sounds
boring.
great.
That's boring. Okay, I'm gonna go Pac-12. Just because the South, it's a divisional game. And sorry, Colby, I'm sure you were eyeballing this one, but look, both these teams have upside, and you never know what's going to come here. Week 4 could be a jumping off point for both these teams. UCLA going to Colorado, fucking beach team versus the high altitude. UCLA should be the favorite, but we're going to see if that altitude
I hate how
plays a factor.
I hate how they this is what I mean though. The Pac-12, they do it less than any other conference. But USC and UCLA never play Colorado in November. I don't know how. They do this where they always get it. We always play them in September.
You don't know how, or you do know how?
No, I'm saying, well, if they're doing this randomly, you would think one of these years USC would actually have to go to cold weather, right? Or
September,
UCLA,
October, November. Once every 3 years, that game would happen in November,
and it never happens in November. But UCLA at Colorado, obviously Dorian Thompson-Robinson back. Can Colorado? Nick was tough on me last week with my Buffs play, but you know it's easy to see a tide turn. Don't forget Carl Durrell the year before was what 5-1. Watch out for those Buffs. They're gonna get the Bruins. What do you think of the play, Nick?
Well, last week you played that Colorado-Minnesota game where last year Colorado had like 60 yards of offense or something. So I think I was justified in my stance there, but look, we're getting to the point where there is kind of slim pickings. I had one other Pac-12 game higher.
Yeah, there's one actually that's kind of actually criminally slept on, I think.
Yeah, so
yeah.
You could argue UCLA. I mean, people are going to be tuning in to see what Chip Kelly's doing. So it's a solid game.
Yeah, it's a good game. This next game by me here, I will keep it as a run on the Pac-12 goes. Guys, what if I told you that Stanford and Washington are 44-44-4 against each other?
A lot of fours.
Yeah.
This is an underrated rivalry. Even when Washington had it rolling with Peterson, you know the one team that fucked with them? Stanford. Right? Even when Harbaugh had it going with Stanford, Washington fucked with them. This is actually a low-key decent game. So I'm going to take you to Seattle, Stanford at Washington. Washington on a 1-game win streak in this series. As they got it done last year. Stanford played 12 Power Fives. What do you make of this matchup, Patty C?
Well, they seem like two teams with equally high ceilings. I can't forget the whole late 90s, early 2000s, even though they were peppered a few good years in there.
Wait, but they
of
Washington?
Stanford.
Oh, okay. I was like, Washington was really good.
Where they were a shit show, you know?
Yeah.
And so I feel like Washington is the better program just based on that. But I think from a real ceiling standpoint, these are probably two pretty similar programs. They build their programs in a different way. I feel like Stanford is like your standard power football team, and Washington's got a little more speed.
And don't look now, but Tanner McKee projected to be a first-round draft pick, but Stanford Cardinal quarterback, another Stanford quarterback in the NFL potentially.
But a very competitive game. Wait,
yeah.
who
Tanner McKee?
That's that five-star.
Yeah,
6'5", 240 prototype. Yeah. Yep, that's what Stanford does.
Nick, what do you make of Stanford Washington?
Yeah, this was the Pac-12 matchup I was alluding to. I do have it ranked higher than UCLA, Colorado.
I agree.
I agree. It's always a fun game. I'm very interested to see what DeBauer's going to do with the Washington offense. So sign me up.
All right. Well, then that puts you back on the clock there. Fancy Nick.
I feel like we've already kind of touched on the game. I will take you Iowa at Rutgers. I think it's an interesting matchup because has Iowa ever played at Rutgers? I mean, these two teams have only played twice ever. So welcome to the world of expansion and large conferences where two schools on opposite sides hardly ever play each other.
Well, has it ever been played in Rutgers?
In Rutgers, has it been played, Nick? Do you know?
I don't know. I know they played in 2016 and 2019.
I'm pulling it up right now. Hang on.
Probably one of those was, but
pull it up because
it up. But either way, I mean, so Iowa's 2-0. They won in 16 and 19. But this Scarlet Knights team the program looks different than it did back 3 years ago or 6 years ago. So I do expect a ball game here.
I think both might have happened in Iowa City from what I'm seeing.
The cornfield.
Yeah, this is the first time it will happen, I think, in Piscataway. I think. I could be wrong. I'm looking at this.
Talk about a culture clash.
Yeah. You got to love it. Dude, and Rutgers has been chippier the past couple, since Shiano's been there. When can they turn that corner is the question. Kirk Ferentz in Iowa, like we said, although I rattled off those numbers, which spoke to me that they're fucking really good on the road still, which is because when I first think Iowa football, I think they're amazing at home. They can beat anyone in the nation at home. We know we got into this last year when I said that they could have gave Georgia a game at home or beat Georgia at home. I still believe anyone in the nation plays in Iowa City.
Sure.
They're on upset watch, in my opinion.
So to answer your question, 2016 was in Piscataway. Iowa won 14-7.
That's what I mean.
It's
on
gotta
the
be close.
road. On the road, but those numbers that I rattled off at the beginning of the episode says they're a great road team. But to me, I know them as like this team on the road where I'm like, oh, they don't have enough offense on the road, and yet Kirk Ferentz, man, he's so fucking underrated. These Iowa fans that want him out are absolutely batshit crazy. They're absolutely batshit crazy. Yeah, Patty C, what do you make of this one? We talked about it earlier, so I guess we don't have to talk about it too much. But
I expect Iowa to just physically dominate them, but Schiano, how many years is it going to take for him?
I mean, he beat Michigan State 2 years ago.
Yeah, establish physicality. How many years is it going to take for him to get his Ray Rice? Is it Brian Leonard? Or I guess it was Brian Leonard.
Brian Leonard.
Yeah. So a couple playmakers to like turn this program into a team that wins some games that they should.
Kenny Britt.
Yeah,
there it is.
Kenny Britt, Mike Teal, the quarterback.
Schiano is an elite coach. He's trying to turn around a program that is not doesn't have that rebuild job that he's doing there is gigantic. But I think Schiano always stays ahead of schedule. So let's see what he got, what he has this year.
Yeah. All right, Patty C, it goes back to you. I see a couple games out there that haven't been played. I got to talk about that historic ACC rivalry that we alluded to earlier. Do I got to talk about I see a couple sneaky ones there.
I don't know what ACC rivalry we're talking about. I'm assuming we're going to have to go pretty far down the list to
Friday night.
Spot that one. That's a big one. No, we're gonna skip that one.
What do you mean? That it's actually in the realm where I almost feel like you have to play it,
especially on Friday night.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
No, you don't. It's a terrible game. As a fucking Virginia fan, I don't want to watch that game. Okay. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. We are going with some Mountain West action. We're gonna go Nevada, traveling to Air Force, right? It's a decent game.
This was a great game last year. This was an absolutely great game last year, dude. I don't know if you guys remember this one. I do because I was here at the studio. This one, I'm pulling it up here. I believe it went to like double overtime. I think, if memory serves me correct. Yeah, and Air Force won by their 2-point conversion. So Nevada couldn't get the 2-point conversion. So Air Force won in Reno 41-39. Air Force leads the all-time series 4-2. Surprising they haven't played more, believe it or not.
It's a cool game, and they're a little bit of a border battle here, right? Colorado touches Nevada.
No.
Utah's in between. Utah's in between. Okay, but cultural Mountain West rivalry. Okay, and look, when we were talking on the podcast the other night about how the whole sport is geared toward seeing a super important regular season game against Alabama versus Auburn or Texas, Oklahoma, Michigan, Ohio State. Those are the only games that can possibly matter. If you expand to the playoff, then this kind of game becomes super important.
I agree.
Right? The Boise versus Nevada game a few years back.
All those ones. Yeah.
That
great games too, man. And they're
important.
And check us out. This is a perfect example, I think, what Patty C is alluding to. They only started playing in 2012. Let me rattle off these scores.
Yeah.
41-39 last year. 2018, because they're in two different divisions. Nevada won 28-25. 2017, 45-42. 2014, 45-38. 2013, 45-42. The only time it was ever a blowout was in year one when Air Force won by 17. Every other game has been decided by 7 points or less, with majority of them being 3 points or less.
With a completely different style of play.
Yes.
Completely entertaining.
Air raid, air raid or pistol against triple option. It's absolutely fantastic. And yes, you're 100% right. This is why the playoff would be so great. And we undersell it. As a society,
a game that gets pushed aside.
Yes.
Right. In favor of these other ones, which could get its shine. And then those teams like Auburn, and Alabama, whatever, they get their shine in the playoffs. And it's not like those games at the end of the regular season are going to be meaningless. They're going to still have a ton of meaning. But guess what? They might meet again in the playoffs, or they play someone else and they get their shine then.
And by the way, might I add, when I was rattling off teams on Monday night when we were recording, Nevada has a 13-1 season where they beat Boise.
Yeah.
And they 13-1.
Forgotten.
And guess what? There was teams with worse records in the playoffs that year.
Wow.
So, or I'm sorry, in what would have been the playoffs, because they didn't have it that year. But
So
that
3 or 4.
yes.
Gotcha.
So, Nick, what do you think of Air Force Nevada?
Yeah, my only concern here is that I don't know how good Nevada is going to be with the new head coach and half the roster transferring out.
They got Shane Ellingsworth, the Oklahoma State quarterback, transferred in.
Yeah, I guess he's okay. And it's on the road too. But hey, I'm not going to argue with it.
I gotta love these little Mountain West matchups. I love them. All right, well. Your boy Dundee's back on the clock, but before I get there, I want to tell you that the College Football Experience is brought to you by IPVanish. Did you know that browsing online using incognito mode doesn't actually protect your privacy? That's right. Without added security, you might as well be giving away your private data to hackers, advertisers, your ISP, and other prying eyes. That's why here at SGPN, we use IPVanish VPN. To make it easy to stay truly private and secure on the internet, IPVanish helps you safely browse the internet by encrypting 100% of your data. That means your private details, your emails, your passwords, your communications, your browsing history will be shielded from falling into the wrong hands. Even your physical location will be hidden. IPVanish makes it virtually invisible, or makes you virtually invisible online. It's really that simple. So go to IPVanish.com/SGP and use the promo code SGP and claim 70% off your savings. That's IPVanish.com/SGP, people. So vanish into the night. All right. Just stay listening to us. All right. It's my pick. I'm going to play this fucking music. I'm taking you to fucking Provo, Utah. Kalani Sitake.
This is a fun one.
Kalani Sitake loves a physical football game, right? I think that's BYU's advantage a lot of times when they play, like they beat USC last year. They beat, some other Pac-12 schools or Big 12 schools. Well, I think there might be one or two teams in the Mountain West that might match up and like to do smash mouth football as well. And one of those is the Wyoming Cowboys. And this is a great uniform matchup. Wyoming at BYU in Provo. Sign me the fuck up. Craig Bohl, Kalani Sitake. Can I just say that's a low-key underrated coaching head-to-head matchup? Two great coaches. They've won. Craig Bohl's won several national championships in the FCS level.
I'm curious to see the head-to-head record between these two teams.
Yeah, and this is a border battle to Patty C's.
You gotta love that.
Yeah.
This is BYU's third most played game in their history.
Wow.
Underrated rival. They've played 78 times. BYU leads 45-30. BYU winners of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games straight. So I'm sure Wyoming wants to get on the better side of this. Craig Bohl is who's the better coach here, Kalani Sitake or Craig Bohl?
I would actually think I'd lean Bohl, but I think both are very good. Both are very good.
Wow.
So
talk about complete domination. 11 of the last 12, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 17 of the last 19 going BYU's favor. So Wyoming really needs
gotta get it fixed. Nick, what do you make of Wyoming BYU?
Yeah, this is a fun game every year. Sign me up for these Mountain West games. Hopefully it's just not on too late. Once again, I sound like a broken record. But especially on a Saturday where it's going to be so many good games on, it's going to be tough to find its way onto
Put this
screen.
on Friday night. Fuck that Virginia game.
Yeah.
This is better than that.
It's a fun game, though.
Yeah, fun game. All right, NC Nick.
Well, let's go back to the SEC, I suppose. It might be just two average, middle-of-the-road teams, but you got Mizzou at Auburn here. And much like Iowa Rutgers, these guys have only played once in an SEC regular season game.
That's insane.
They've been in
10 years. They've been in
Right.
that fucking league. The only difference is Rutgers came 8 years ago.
Right.
So
they did play in the 2013 SEC championship game, though, which sounds crazy to say.
That is true. That is
how
very
did
true.
How did Mizzou win the SEC East? I don't know.
Because Gary Pinkel was fucking incredible.
Yeah,
he did it
right.
a couple years when he first started
You're right.
in the SEC, which
He
really
came in and dominated the SEC.
and this is what's going to be great because I'm going to go ahead on record and say when Oklahoma and Texas join, we're going to have a sample size of 4 teams within their first 5 years. A&M's never been to an SEC championship. I'm pretty sure Texas is not going to get there in their first 5 years. Oklahoma, jury's still out. But wouldn't it be hilarious if Missouri is the team that had the biggest impact in the SEC?
Right.
Because they went, I think, 2 or 3 years in a row with Gary Pinkel.
Yep.
Not Georgia, not Florida, not Tennessee. Missouri did.
You know,
Yeah.
and the funniest thing, who do we say had the most road games by a mile? Of
Missouri, yes.
Missouri.
Yes.
Gary Pinkel was a miracle worker.
He was a great fucking coach, man, and I hope he's doing good. I know he was battling leukemia. Guys, this game's great because both coaches might get fired also.
Right?
I mean, I always love those games when it's like you get the chance to watch one and you know the loser that could be their last game ever coaching at that university. It really could, especially in Brian Harson's case. So sign me up. But I even think Drinkowitz, they got rid of Barry Odom. Barry Odom had a better record thus far, 2 seasons in, than Eli Drinkowitz. So
his hot seat is cooking.
yeah, I think both are pretty hot right now.
What is the Missouri expectation?
Well, their expectation's a lot better than that because they get a shit ton of money from the SEC network and their TV deal.
And they're the lone Power 5 team, or really.
But part of the thing that has made the SEC kind of separate from the rest of college football has been the
contract.
Well, no, their university's getting that much money, which means they can go out. Back in the day, Mississippi State wouldn't be able to pay for Mike Leach.
Yeah.
Because Wazoo and Mississippi State were on the same level.
Yeah.
Now, with those TV, the past 15 years, there's this gigantic separation.
Fourth best coach in college football to be the playoff for the 13th best team in your conference.
Yes, and that's what I'm saying. Before it would have been, it's completely changed everything. So Missouri has all these resources. I remember I was watching a game during COVID on ESPN Classic of Nebraska's Scott Frost catch that hit off the foot.
Yeah.
They flash in that game the salary of the coach of Missouri, which I want to say his name was Larry Smith. I could be wrong. I don't recall his name. I think it was Larry Smith.
Yeah.
He made $200,000 in 1997. Eli Drinkowitz makes like $5 million a year, and this has only been I watched this in 2020 when COVID hit. So I was like, wait, in basically 22 college football seasons because this was the summer.
Yeah,
they went from $200,000 to $5 million a year,
multiplied by 20.
That's
what would that be?
Unfucking believable.
25 times.
Unfucking believable. This is a good game, though. Sign me up for it. I'm on board. Patty C, you are on the clock. We have 6 more picks left, guys.
All right. I am looking up and down this list. We're in the official trash stage of this operation here, but let me take some heat here from you guys. I'm gonna go ACC Coastal, and we're going Boston College versus Florida State.
That's what I was alluding to earlier. And this one's interesting because you got Jerkovic and Boston College, this is one of the rare times I think they might be able to say they're more talented than Florida State.
Going to Tallahassee, though, is that going to be a
dude?
problem?
Zay Flowers is public. Did you guys see the story? No. The star receiver for Boston College. If in case you're wondering if Nick Saban was tampering or Lincoln Riley, Zay Flowers said while he's been at Boston College, he's their star receiver, could have went pro. He's electing to come back for Hafley. Apparently a big Jeff Hafley guy because he said he turned down 7 figures.
Wow.
To go, and he goes, several schools contacted me. Several schools contacted me. So in case you're just thinking, hey, you read these headlines and say, you know what, these universities, they're not doing anything wrong. You know what I mean? They're all fucking contact. And that's subjective if it's wrong or not, because if everyone's doing it, Just know, Zay Flowers, though, I was impressed when I saw he turned down that much money to stay at Boston College.
Nice.
Yeah, that is impressive. When a bag that big is being dropped in front of your face.
Yeah, I
and
mean,
you stay loyal. You got to give credit.
So to me, yeah, I'm you know what? It makes me a Boston College fan in a way this year. I hope BC wins the Coastal or wins the Atlantic. I'm sorry.
Rewards.
If they're in the Coastal, they already went to the ACC championship 5 times.
That's right.
All right.
At least once.
Yeah. BC, Florida State. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah. Hey, why not, man? It could be fun. It should be close. As long as Jerkovsky is healthy, Boston College has a chance to beat anybody. That includes on the road in Tallahassee.
And Norvell could be fired. This is one that could get him fired.
Yeah, sure.
If BC goes in there and wins 31-10, I could see them firing Norvell.
Is Jerkovsky and Hafley the best coaching combination in the ACC right now?
You mean quarterback coach?
Quarterback coach.
Yeah.
No.
Well, we don't know Van Dyke and Cristobal yet.
What about Leary and Doran?
No, I would go Hartman and
That's pretty
Clausen.
high.
Hartman,
Both
Clausen.
of those are very
Yeah,
high.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Okay.
yeah, it's up there. It's right there.
Yeah.
Hartman, Clausen probably be my first pick. But yeah, it's a good game. I'm with you. All right. It's on me here, folks. Your boy Dundee, and I'm gonna take you to. There's some games out there. I'm gonna take you to. What did we call this fucking stadium? The brand new stadium opening up in San Diego. We called it. There was some type of name.
What was it?
I feel it wasn't Dignity Health. That's the Chargers in Long Beach. But this was like, I don't know. It was
Very corporate. in that.
no. It was like a weird name. It was like a net company. I feel like, but I'm gonna take you to Toledo.
Snapdragon Stadium.
There we go. Toledo has been, to me, like, yes, they haven't won the MAC championship recently, not since Matt Campbell, I believe, but they've been kind of like a blue blood in the MAC since like the 90s. They had Nick Saban one year. Toledo's been a decent program. They've been like, if you had to name the blue bloods in the MAC, would we all not say Toledo?
The Rockets.
Yeah.
Let's admit that they're
Horrible name, the Rockets.
cool name and a cool helmet.
No, the real cool name is the Aztecs, and they're going all the way to San Diego. 2 decent mid-majors here. Brady Hoke used to coach in the MAC at Ball State. Toledo at San Diego State at Snapdragon Stadium. Nobody walks into the Snapdragon. No one goes into the Snapper.
We need to.
All right? no one goes into the Snapper and gets a dub.
We need to go down to the Snapper and fucking.
We do. We
Yeah.
should go to this one. And by the way, I'm
Rage our
gonna
asses
go
off.
ahead and predict that San Diego State will rush for 200 yards in this game. NC
Good
Nick,
bet.
your thoughts on Toledo at San Diego
Don't
State?
be a bitch, Kobe. We're going to the fucking Snapper this year.
Let's go to the Snapper. No one walks into the Snapper. All right.
That's right.
Turn up the heat when you go into the Snapper.
Damn right.
What do you think of Toledo at San Diego State, Nick?
That's a decent game. I wish it was on like a Wednesday night or something, but it's an interesting matchup because it's like a bowl game kind of. Yeah, 2 schools that don't face each other often, so solid game.
And they both have been like good programs, like for a while. I feel like
Yeah.
they both win every year. I feel like. Patty C, your thoughts on Toledo, San Diego State? You don't like it, huh?
He hates it.
That whiskey is boating there. Look,
He's having it with ginger ale. That's his fucking thing.
dude. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's strong stuff.
Oh man,
I hate you.
that's
guys.
Schweppes.
I
That Schweppes will
hate
bite you.
both. Well, you don't chug it like I do. You're fucking nursing your shit.
What do you
over there.
mean? My shit's been done for 20 minutes.
Well, I've been on 3 for the last 20 minutes, so I don't know. Anyway, Toledo, San Diego State. Well, I mean, do we expect this to be pretty competitive here?
Yeah, Toledo's decent.
It's a long trip, Ohio to California.
There's a reason why Cincinnati doesn't schedule Toledo.
Yeah,
They schedule Miami, Ohio.
true. Although they scheduled Arkansas this past year, but
I'm just giving you a hard time
you
because
son of a gun.
but
Look,
Toledo is the 3rd best team in Ohio over the past 30 years.
Toledo is going to get rocked by 21 points in this game.
Probably. It's a far trip.
Yeah.
That is a far
But
trip.
Toledo's a high-level MAC team, so this would be a great win for that conference.
Yeah. All right. So now it goes to good old NC Nick. Second to last pick for you, NC Nick.
All right, good. Let's keep it cranking, guys. It's getting a little late on the old EC over here. This game might be number 1 if it was on the hardwoods, but it's not. So it's number 25th to 26th. Duke, Kansas. Duke won this game last year, 52-33.
You're very lucky you caught Leopold in what, game 2? Was that game 2?
Now we got Mike Elko at the helm. I think we go on the road and get this dub.
Oh, no, get the fuck out of here. Kansas by double digits. Patty C, I love this matchup. And this is one that needs to be Friday night because I am all on board and watching this one.
Hold on. Duke, new coach situation.
Mike Elko.
Okay. Oh, God. I feel like those are two
Leopold against Elko.
Very comparable coaches in terms of what they accomplished coming into their current gigs.
Yeah, Mike Elko really has 30 national championships. So
yeah,
I was about to
say. Mike Elko played in front of more than 8 fans for his coaching career, whereas Leopold, Division III, that's great.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Buffalo, yeah. That program was very precious before Lance Leopold.
Yeah, and the problem now is that Mike Elko is not going to be coaching in front of 8 fans at Duke.
That's true.
We're going to figure out what he's now they're on equal playing field here. I got Kansas in this one.
Yeah, Kansas got Leopold, baby.
Yeah.
I can't wait to talk shit to Nick on this one, though. Move this to Friday night, ACC. Come on, put this on the ACC network. Put this on ESPN 2. I don't give a shit. All right, Patty C. Your last pick in the draft, buddy.
Well, there's a part of me that wants to reference again Josh Pate and talk about recruiters that aren't actually good coaches and go to the Maryland versus Michigan game and talk about Mike Loxley, who is the
Are you going there?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I'm not at all interested in that game.
Well, then why you bring it up?
I want to talk shit.
Nick's just trying to go to sleep. He's like, God damn it.
Getting long-winded bastards. Pick a game.
Look, we're going to the Dome. We're going to the only Friday
Virginia at Syracuse.
You're damn right. Look, Virginia, we're going to see what they're capable of, but I will say with who is it? Nicholas Harbor, that on top of Arch Manning, that the coach is bringing in for Virginia. Why am I drawing a blank on his name?
Tony Elliott.
Elliott.
Look, you can bring in whoever. You can bring in, for all I care, you can bring in Slinging Sammy Ball.
The
You're not
number
going
of 5 stars you bring on campus affects your recruiting, and Tony Elliott is doing a great job bringing recruits on campus. And look, get another win here. Fuck Syracuse. Virginia's on the come up, so I'm throwing this on the radar here.
All right,
Friday night all by itself.
I do like that, and I think it has to be played because it's Friday night all by itself.
There you go. Thank you.
2 picks left in the draft. Gosh, I can't believe I'm gonna make it. It's either. I'm not doing the Maryland Michigan thing. I'm not doing it. So I'm gonna go let's go to Berkeley. Arizona at Cal.
Good God.
I think Jaden Delore. What do you mean? You just played Virginia Syracuse.
Arizona.
Who's the last great player to come out of Virginia? Fucking at least Aaron Rodgers was at Cal. They were top 10.
No, Arizona is my complaint.
Oh, okay. Well fuck. I mean, Syracuse and Arizona.
Trump candidate.
Is Syracuse better than Arizona?
It's both terrible games. We're at the very bottom of this list. All right, but we're working it.
Chuck Cecil went to Arizona.
Is the college experience. That was in 1990.
And he's on the fucking staff.
True.
At Arizona now.
The Desert Swarm.
Arizona at Cal in Berkeley. Drop some acid and enjoy this one because you might need to drop some acid. But I know I'm a Justin Wilcox believer, and I also think Jed Fish. I don't know about his head coaching ability, but I can tell you this: he landed the best recruiting class they've ever had, and they not only did that, they went out in the transfer portal, and in my opinion, they won the transfer portal. Brought in Jaden Delora, brought in Jacob Cowing, the star receiver from UTEP. Watch out for the Wildcats as a team that I just don't know what to expect. I don't know if Fish can coach, but I can tell you this. I know Wilcox can coach. So I'm gonna Arizona at Cal in Berkeley. Put this on Friday night too. Put every game on Friday night at this point. Nick, your thoughts on Arizona Cal?
It's a solid game, but yeah, well, look, at this point, it's pretty slim pickings. You did forget one that I'm going to give with my last pick here, but your game is solid. I mean, at this point, what do you expect?
Yeah, I mean, I forgot one. I mean, look, I'll be honest. This was the three that I was thinking. It was Maryland, Michigan, Arizona, Cal, or Marshall at Troy.
You still didn't mention it. This
Charlotte,
this non-Power 5 team was down by only 7 points at Ohio State last year with 4 minutes left to play in the game.
I do like this one. Okay, that would have been the next two.
Tulsa at Ole Miss.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, Tulsa might be able to hang around. They're a solid program. Ole Miss has a lot of change, a lot of turnover from personnel from last year.
Steve Largent went to Tulsa. You can't hate on Tulsa, man. Gus Frerotte went to Tulsa. All right. Tulsa had 2 offensive linemen drafted in like the first 2 rounds this past year, I think it was.
I think 2 years ago, the Redskins drafted a linebacker out of Tulsa.
That's what I'm saying.
Early
Philip
on.
Montgomery. They're underrated. Tulsa at Ole Miss.
One of the hottest girls I ever dated was from Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Hey, the shout out to in the movie The Outsiders.
You never know where those hotties are going to come from.
Well, the hottest girl you ever dated was probably a 5, right?
You son of a bitch.
I got him done there.
LA 5.
Yeah.
And LA 5 is a Raleigh 8. So,
well, in Tulsa, I mean, a 5 in Tulsa.
And
it depends where. I mean, I actually, for some reason, I do feel like Oklahoma. Hey, maybe it might be better than what people think.
LA 5 is in West Hollywood. Let's be honest. I'll say this.
What the fuck are you saying over there?
I get on Tinder and I'm like,
great ass.
I'm saying I get on Tinder and half the time that I'm like spotting something I like, I double check and it's not on brand for old Patty C or any of us.
Oh, okay.
I think I get what you're putting
down.
2022 is weird in the old dating.
I don't have to worry about that in Raleigh.
Yeah.
Thank God for you.
Although, man, when I did a comedy show in Raleigh last, they did have the bathroom situation. It was very confusing.
That Clay Travis quote.
That was fucking really
good.
funny, man, about the NBA not doing their All-Star game in Charlotte. But going to play a game in where was it?
United Arab Emirates.
Yeah. Guys, we're at this part.
Well, I don't get rain, man. It's cold, but they're counting down 7-6-5.
We're giving our Lou Holtz what the fuck game of the week, and then we're getting out of here. Patty C, you have the first pick in this what the fuck game of the week. What are you taking?
I'm going a little bit down the list here, and I'm going to say the very, very golden flashes of Kent State. Traveling to defending national champion.
Have you seen Kent State's schedule this
Georgia
year?
Bulldogs. I mean, good God, Georgia, come on. At least make it regional. That's your excuse for playing some shit ass.
Guys, Kent State's at a conference schedule. At Washington week 1, at Oklahoma week 2, and at Georgia week 4.
Oh my goodness.
God. Wait, wow. 4 of those teams,
Seattle, Norman, and Athens.
All 3 of those teams have played in the
college football playoffs. All 3 have been in the college football playoffs.
8 years of its existence.
Almost every year. One of those.
But Patty's right. Georgia, why don't you go play a Sun Belt team? Why are you going up into the MAC?
Because that's what the SEC does.
They're
like, give us a shitty FCS. And give us normally it's like Akron or Ball State or Bowling Green.
Yeah.
Instead, it's this year it's Kent State, who actually is is a little bit better than those teams.
Kent State. Let's get a bunch of guys from Ohio who have no animosity towards us for not recruiting them.
Right. Yeah,
and let's just whip the living tar out of them and get an easy win.
Let's not play Georgia Southern or Georgia State.
Yeah,
because that might actually be a ball game.
Yeah. So they learned their lesson against Georgia Southern when they were in the FCS and they scheduled them, and that shit went to overtime.
And Georgia State last year.
That was
Auburn.
No. Georgia Southern beat Florida at Florida without completing a pass, and they took Georgia to overtime. And Georgia Southern's getting rid of the triple option. What the fuck are you doing?
Paul Johnson.
two teams that have won the national championship in the past 15 years, and you played with them with the triple option, and you beat one of them and took the other one to overtime in their home stadium. What are you doing?
Abandon ship.
All right. Well, that is a great what the fuck game of the week. It goes to pick 2 for the Lou Holtz what the fuck game of the week, and that's me.
Well, I don't get the brain man cold, but.
And when I look at this, man, I mean, there's it's actually it's bad, but it's not as bad as most weeks. I feel like
True.
And I'm gonna take you to New Mexico at LSU. New Mexico at LSU, because once again, you could play a Sun Belt, you could play Louisiana or even ULM, all right, or Tulane. You have 3 mid majors that are right there, right? Or Southern Miss, right there.
But don't you know, Colby?
Don't you know?
New Mexico and New Mexico State.
Yes, New Mexico.
Members.
They are honorary. I know they're fringe SEC teams.
Yeah.
They're considering that move into the state of New Mexico. They're already into Texas and Oklahoma.
Right.
And what would really make the SEC next level
Keep pushing west
is if you can take down the great state of New Mexico. So
they want to open up the recruiting pipelines into
to
New
Las
Mexico.
Cruces, yes, to Las Cruces, which has got a lot of great talent. Yeah. Santa Fe is
for the
known
next
for their
Brian
football.
Urlacher.
There's nothing like going to Santa Fe and checking out an art gallery and then the local high school football team. But New Mexico travels to LSU and just a barn burner. I know Brian Kelly's going to have to stay up late this week as the Lobos,
that vaunted Lobos
that
attack.
Lobo offense is dynamic, like Dan Marino's wife. All right. Well, Nick, it's on you.
Well, I don't get the brain man cold, but.
You're what the fuck game of the week, buddy?
Yeah, you guys definitely gobbled up the 2 I would have went with. I'll go FCS versus FBS, I guess. Even though this FCS team beat an FBS squad last year, I'll go Rhode Island versus Pitt. Rhode Island beat UMass last year, if that counts. But I guess, I mean, come on, Pitt. You can do better than that.
Yeah, Pitt wins the ACC and you schedule fucking, I mean, come on. I know
It's
these
just so boring.
Rhode Island, the Rams. Hey, well, Pitt lost to Western Michigan. How close is Rhode Island to Western Michigan as far as talent? I don't know. Western Michigan had a couple players drafted, but
I
I mean,
think Rhode Island's terrible. I mean,
they're in the CAA. How was JMU against the Rams?
I have no idea.
I think they owned them. I personally think they owned them.
Pretty sure we took care of
Yeah, Rhode Island at Pitt. That's a horrible fucking game. You know, yeah. I don't know what else to make of that
It's
besides
just like sleepy Northeast football.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody
why
cares.
not play UConn here instead of
Right.
Rhode Island?
It's like the Northeast doesn't care about football in the first place, and then you take like the 8th best team in each state. and-
Yeah. You notice how they didn't play Villanova because they might lose that game.
Right.
It's crazy. Or even Temple, who sucks.
Rhode Island, safe
Yeah.
bet.
Rhode Island. Rhode Island at Pitt. All right, folks, subscribe to the College Football Experience. We do this every week. We'll have you covered for week 5 next week. So subscribe, tell a friend, and keep on rocking in the free world. The College Football Experience is on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. I'm on Twitter at DColbyD. Patty C's on Twitter at PattyC831. NC Nick's on Twitter at NC_NICK. Get that SGPN app. We also host the USFL Gambling Podcast. Subscribe to that. We also host the College Basketball Experience. Subscribe to that. And all of our feeds. Terrell Furman was on the show earlier. Go get his stuff. NBA podcast or NBA Gambling Podcast, WNBA Gambling Podcast. There's just so much out there. NHL Gambling Podcast, Sports Gambling Podcast Network. We got you covered. MLB Gambling Podcast. So check all that stuff out and get that SGPN app. Get the Slack channel Sports Gambling Podcast going off. We just got so much stuff for you to check out. So please, and I say that without being arrogant, please check us out. I really believe you'll enjoy it. So, all right, folks, this is the College Football Experience Week 4 style. You better start thinking about yours, and we out of here.
You come from a land down under, a women go